The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
Celebrate Christmas in July with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Get huge savings with $1,776 off a new multi-head ductless system. Visit standardheating.com to discover all the goodies in Santa's bag.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93.
Monday morning.
What? It's Monday already?
How was your weekend?
Not nearly long enough.
Fun times in Cleveland today. Cleveland. Come on down to Cleveland town, everyone. Come and look at both of our buildings. You should come on down to West 6th Street. It's the perfect place if you're a douchebag. Here's the place where there used to be industry. This train is carrying jobs out of Cleveland. Here's a statue of Moses Cleveland. He's the guy who invented Cleveland. Yeah! Fun times in Cleveland again. Still Cleveland. Come on down to Cleveland town, everyone. Under construction since 1868. See our river that catches on fire. You see the sun almost 3 times a year. This guy has at least 2 DUIs. The flats look like a Scooby-Doo ghost town. Don't slow down in East Cleveland or you'll die. Our economy's based on LeBron James. Buy a house for the price of a VCR. Our main export is crippling depression. It could be worse though, at least we're not Detroit. We're not Detroit.
Showtime.
Hey, you got to start somewheres, I guess. Somewheres. We're staring down the barrel of a fresh set of work days here. Welcome to the 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. What's with the Cleveland routine?
Today, 1976, it was invented by General Moses Cleveland.
Man, way back in 1976?
Did I say 1976?
Sure did.
1796.
1796.
I think I'm going to have to get glasses, honestly.
That would have been just like 30 years ago they were just founded.
Are you not already wearing cheaters at all,
Well, I was
Josh?
born at 75, so it'd be more than that, Waffle. So
30 years, yeah.
Nothing's going right so far.
We all know I'm terrible at math.
Yeah, we do.
You got to get some glasses, Cubby?
I don't know. I guess or maybe I have a little bit of dyslexia.
How was the weekend for you?
No complaints. For the first time in my life, I might have saw a lion almost barf.
Whoa.
I was
almost a lion.
Yeah, I went to the Como Zoo. Yeah, I did what the rest of Minnesota did, and on Saturday went to the Como Zoo. Apparently, we all had the exact same idea.
Big crowd?
Oh, I've never seen it more busy.
Huh.
Never once. I love that zoo.
What inspired you to go to the zoo?
We were looking for something. We don't do anything, so we thought, let's do something. So we decided to go to the zoo. Love it. It's a lot of fun. Everybody in the world was there. I've never seen it like that. Very, very packed.
Wow.
But so we go see the lion, and what a majestic creature the lion is it not?
I'll be damned, yes.
Yep.
And we see it just kind of laying there, and we walk over because it's roaring. And I've been there many, many times. I've never heard the lion roar. And he's there with his girlfriend or wife. I'm not sure their relationship. And then he starts making this roaring noise, and then it sounds like he's going to barf. And it was going on for so long, I remembered, I've got a phone. I could record this. And so I recorded it for you. This is what I think it sounds like when a lion's about to throw up. Here's his full roar. Maybe he was doing it. But I was watching him, and it looked like he was about to throw up, like the cat about to get rid of that hairball.
Yeah, I was just going to say, do lions get hairballs?
I don't
Maybe
know.
that's what it was.
Kind of sounded like you needed to get something out of his system there.
Yeah. And
To me, it sounded like I was standing at the tree at BIR waiting for a pro stock race. That's
just sitting there revving it.
That's really cool. That audio's great.
the recording doesn't even do it justice. I mean, we were quite a distance away, and we first heard the roar. And was that really what we heard, the lion? So we went over, and a huge crowd went over there. Everybody's over there, right? And there's a couple ladies pretty funny that were like, oh, hell no, I can't believe what's going on. Everybody had a theory as to what was happening with it. Because he's by himself at this point. He walks away, and if you've been there, you've seen they've got like the stage, essentially, right in the middle, that wooden stage or whatever it is, just a place for him to perch. And so he's walking over there making this noise, and I thought, I'm going to see a lion barf. And I thought maybe a gazelle comes out of there, a kid. I don't know what happens when a lion throws up. But it was one of the cooler things I've seen.
Little old trip to the zoo. Cubby and the whole family?
Pretty much,
I'll be damned. Yeah, that was some great audio. Yeah, who knows what the hell he was up to there. Maybe he's just had a lot to say.
Yeah, maybe he's just kind of communicating or telling people to leave him alone. I don't know.
Dr. PG's is going to join the program later on this morning, don't you know? I'm pretty sure I got Zach Parisi talked into coming on before the week is out, so we got some things to do. Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder, of course, will be with us this morning at 7:30. Anything happen other than your trip to the zoo?
Boy, there was something else I wanted to mention to you. Now I forget what it was, so it must not have been that good. How about you?
It'll come back to you. Oh, it was your typical this and that. Typical this and that.
Did you guys, over where you're at, did you get the storms yesterday?
Oh, big time.
That was some of the loudest thunder I've heard in a long time.
Yep.
I was
It
driving.
sounded like a lion about to barf.
Oh, I've heard that before.
Yeah, I know what that sounds like now.
I was driving back from Rockfest, and it was just pissing rain.
Oh, I didn't get anything.
It was so bad.
How'd you enjoy Rockfest?
It was absolutely a blast. Couldn't ask for a better weekend.
Who'd you see? Dump it on us. Go ahead.
Parkway Drive, Beartooth, From Ashes to New, Chevelle, I See Stars. Boy,
Anyone
so
from the
many
80s?
more. Nope.
No one from the 80s?
No one from the 80s.
Not one band from the 80s.
That was more Wednesday night. They had Quiet Riot and stuff like that.
Oh, God.
Was it lightly attended because everyone was at the zoo?
No, it was packed. It was
Quiet-
packed, and then I also saw some videos and pictures from the Yacht Festival, too, that was happening over the weekend.
So my stepdaughter went there, and she sent me some videos, and the band sounded great, by the way.
I'm sorry, a yacht festival?
Yeah,
it was
the
the Yacht Rock Yacht Club. I can't remember what it was
that's
called.
a yacht rock.
Like-
That paints a completely different picture than a yacht festival.
It's not yacht rock.
It's not yacht rock.
No, it
like-
was like the Offspring, Red Hot Chili Peppers was there, Gwen Stefani.
Alanis Morissette.
Yep, Alanis
There-
Morissette.
There was a lady at on Friday night at that yacht festival, or whatever it was called, that was on some of the best drugs you can be on. Saw some videos of her dancing. I've never seen someone more in their own world, just having a blast, dancing to Gwen Stefani.
Oh, you love to see it.
Oh man, she's got like a whole tie-dye outfit on and everything.
Big concert festivals over the weekend that I was completely unaware of.
Yeah, and then there was a EDM festival at Blue Ribbon Pines, the disc golf course called Base Ribbon Pines. So
Okay. Fair enough. So
there's
you
a
had
lot of music this weekend.
Yeah, you had a good time at Rockfest. Mm-hmm. You get into the drugs?
Nope, no
Alcohol?
drugs. I don't think there's any whiskey
Alcohol?
left. Yeah, I don't think there's any whiskey left in Wisconsin.
No drugs.
No.
Like no marijuana?
Oh, I guess.
Marijuana's not a drug,
I kind
Josh.
of forgot that's a drug.
Wouldn't we call marijuana a drug, or is
Yeah.
that not cool to say? I don't know.
I don't know. I just forget about that one, I guess.
Whenever somebody says say no to drugs, that's the first thing I think of.
Just say no to dope.
It's been many years since I attended Rockfest. Is it still in Cadott, Wisconsin?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, just on the other side of Eau Claire.
Well, there you go.
Do they still have commercials that go rock.fest? Oh, wait. Rock.fest.com.
Rockfest.com. No, they didn't.
They didn't do that?
Nope.
Oh, it's been many, many years.
It's gotten so big that they really don't need too many radio stations anymore. I think there's only one radio station that gets to call themselves the Rockfest radio station. It's over in Cadott, Wisconsin.
I remember being at Moon Dance Jam a number of years ago, too. Is that still a thing?
Yes, it is. I want to say last year Night Ranger went there, and I almost went. 'Cause
Word?
I really want to see Night Ranger. I haven't
Word.
seen him live yet.
1 year at, how do you call it? I just said it out loud. Moon Dance Jam. 1 year at Moon Dance Jam. I ended up staying the night with some KQ people, which was boring, being around KQ people. They're all so old. But anyway, I crashed at their campsite. You know, KQ was a big, what's the word in the business? Sponsor?
Yeah. Promoter.
Promoter. And there were a handful of other small radio stations also camping nearby. And boy, you should have seen that pissing match of radio people all trying to out-party each other.
Oh, that would be
gross.
annoying.
Out-story each other. And, there was a lot of I'm not going to look at you because I perceive you to be my rival type nonsense going on. I went to bed pretty early that evening.
Good call.
Went to bed pretty early. Do any of you still read the newspaper?
No.
Well, online.
Sometimes.
Yeah, I don't remember the last time I read the actual paper.
Okay.
I like to read the comics.
The comics, sure. Here in the building, I still love having the Star Trib or usually it's the Pioneer Press, isn't it, Josh? I still love to have their sports page in my hand, air day. I know most of you have moved on and you only you do the .com thing.
I have some terrible news for you. That might be going away due to the .com thing. Getting the paper in
no.
here.
Oh, I'll have to stop every morning at the gas station. Is that right?
Yeah.
What's happening?
I just heard just last week they might ditch that.
You mean our company might stop paying for the...
Yeah, not the Pioneer Press isn't going out of business.
Okay, all right. Well, whatever. I'll deal with that when it comes. The old newspaper. I still, like I said, I feel kind of lost without that sports page to go through every morning. The Star Tribune is looking to hire someone to be their new mascot.
Well, this is interesting because they don't know what the mascot is going to be quite yet, from what I understand. But they're going to have some sort of mascot.
If you were running things, Josh, what would you make the Star Tribune mascot out to be?
Well, I thought it would be funny just having like a giant newspaper running around.
Oh, I was thinking like a cute like paper boy, like maybe like a big. I was kind of thinking like a big plush paper boy. Yeah.
Or, he's got that little hat on.
Yeah, that'd be cute.
I do like that
satchel
idea.
of papers.
Yeah.
I like that. I am a former paper boy myself. Did that for many years. Actually, I still, when I started here, I was still doing that for a couple of years.
God.
I've played Paperboy.
Oh, man, that's a fun
too.
game.
Yeah.
Very fun.
Even after you started here, you were running around at 3:30 in the morning delivering papers.
Yeah.
Did you
I
have
used to
the-
listen to you and Dissette.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you told me that before.
Do you have the throwdown still?
Yeah, it wasn't like the movies.
Oh,
Ashley.
no? Wasn't?
It wasn't like we didn't wrap. We didn't wrap them like that. Or bind them.
I did it for one morning when I was about a 5th grade kid. One of my best buddies landed a job as the neighborhood paper boy, and he asked me if I wanted in. And I said yes. I don't know why. Well, I guess I do know why, because he was my best bro, and it meant we could hang out even if it was 3 o'clock in the morning. We were young kids, like I said, 11 or 12 years old. We'll stay up all night, and then we'll go to, and that's what we did. But it just so happened it was the dead of winter. It was about 13 below zero and raining or something when when I helped and it was so miserable. I said, no, you go ahead and you can have that gig all to yourself. A newspaper hiring a mascot. I thought that was kind of funny to read.
What was the local medical company that has PDP Cup?
Oh, yeah.
Where they
Remember
have
seeing
just-
that at Saints games.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I remember, I certainly remember Petey, the P Cup.
PDP Cup. Whose is that shoot? Is
Yeah,
it
we'll figure it out. But
like a Health Partners or something like that?
he was a giant plastic cup, and I believe there was a real yellow liquid
there was.
banging around on the inside of the mascot outfit. So
Yeah.
it looked like a pea cup about ready to spill. Sure, I saw him around town.
PDP Cup.
Yeah.
When
Looks
you were,
like Health Partners.
It's Health Partners? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. When you were a paper, but what paper for the day?
Oh, God, it was one day. I don't remember.
Because
This
I
is
started with
1980.
the Sun Current.
Oh, yeah.
And,
I know the Sun Current.
Kind of the minor leagues. And no disrespect to them because it's a wonderful, wonderful paper. But then I went to the Star Tribune after that.
You got called up to the show.
Which I regret on Sundays.
Oh, those were heavy.
Those were really heavy.
Yeah.
My guess, Josh, since it was just a small neighborhood in Wayzata, I bet you my pal was passing out the old Wayzata Weekly,
Sure.
which I believe is still a thing. So, like Josh said, the Star Trib is not sure yet what they're going to go with. what this mascot is going to be. They mentioned, will it be a newspaper, like somebody said already? Will it be a star? But there is a job listing on, what is it, on Twitter or something?
It's on their website.
On their website.
Mm-hmm.
Part-time gig. They will pay you $25 an hour whenever they call. They want you out there at the state fair and events like that representing the paper, okay? If someone's looking for something to do this summer. You should be prepared to maintain the integrity and personality of the mascot character at all times.
Whatever character that is.
Right.
Yeah, they're still unknown.
And I do have a list of qualifications, if you're interested. I got it right here in front of me. Now, this is where I feel like I'm the man for the job, even though I'm a little too old for the gig maybe at this point. My legs are going to give out. I'm not as enthusiastic as I was about anything, like I was 25, 30, 35 years ago. But I don't know. I have much mascot experience. I do. And they say right here in the qualifications, previous experience is preferred, not required, but preferred. And I have, my mascot resume is rich. Okay. But then there's other qualifications, like I was just saying, about my slightly accelerated age, where maybe I'm not the guy, because part of the qualifications right here, it says ability to perform in a costume for extended periods of time in various weather conditions.
Oh, no.
I'm likely to give way, especially if it's a little bit hot or a lot hot.
Yeah. No, thank you.
I've seen that. I've seen you
Yes.
not do so well in a warm costume.
Yeah, you did.
That was unfortunate.
So who still likes their chances? Ability to perform in previous experience, preferred but not required. Ability to perform in a costume in extended periods of time, various weather conditions. Who still likes their chances?
I think it'd be fun to be a mascot for about 7 minutes, and then I think I'd be over it.
Really? I think it'd be kind of fun.
Yeah,
It lasts a lot longer than 7 minutes.
Yeah.
It does. Comfortable working with diverse audiences. Okay, I got no problem with that. Oh, no. Including children and their families. I don't like children.
Well, I think that's a big part of it.
Yep.
I think that's going to eliminate you awful quick.
I can mask that for a short period of time, but I don't think I could cover that for a full hour or anything like that. My dislike of children, I think, will show after about 20 minutes.
I had to watch Goldie deal with kids, and I felt for him because the little kids like to grab his tail, and obviously Goldie is great with the kids, so he put up with it. But I was like, man, I hope they pay you enough.
Goldie Gopher is immortal.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and finally, the qualifications for being this new Star Tribune mascot. You need to be energetic, enthusiastic, able to maintain a positive attitude. Come on.
You're the most positive person I know, Nick.
I don't know anybody who can maintain a positive attitude anymore on any level. Tough gig. But like I said, my mascot resume is rich. I was my high school mascot. I was the wise-headed Trojan. Fired after one day. Sure, fine. Well, I quit. I quit after one day. Well, shouldn't even say that. It was 20 minutes, and I quit the gig.
So you've had very short experience.
Well,
What's the longest you've been a mascot? Because you were a chicken for about an hour or so until you almost killed a kid and almost died.
I was Monkey Man for 2 entire North Star playoff games in 1991. That was an unofficial mascot. Someone had a monkey costume. I put it on. I pulled the North Star jersey over the top of my head, and I was Monkey Man for 2 North Star games.
Nice.
Then came my 1 hour as a carrot. I was a carrot at the state fair. That was exhausting, but very rewarding. And then my last mascot gig, Josh, I think, unless I'm forgetting, is the one you just mentioned. For about 1 hour, maybe I was a giant turkey or chicken. I can't remember.
Yeah, it was a chicken.
Okay, I was a giant chicken at a hospital where, yes, I almost killed a child.
It happened.
To the point where all the alarms were going off and there was a huge response from medical personnel.
People running.
Yep.
Oh, and I almost died too. Oh, God.
Yeah, they had to switch to you.
Oh, it was hot in there.
Weren't you really hungover too?
Oh, God, I was terribly hungover.
That's a terrible mix.
Just pouring sweat. Pouring sweat. And then they stuffed me into a giant chicken costume and strutting up and down the halls, patting little kids on the head. You'll be all right soon enough, right? We're at a hospital. And I stood on that kid's air hose and everything went to hell from there. That's pretty interesting, though. I'm looking forward to, I'm sure I'll hit the state fair once or twice this summer, and I'm going to swing by the state fair booth, or how do you call it, the Star Trib booth, and see that new mascot. Good for them.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what they come up with, too. I bet it'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, you'll have a fun time with it, whoever gets that job.
Yeah, $25 an hour to wear the mascot suit around. That's good money.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about this. Oh, geez. Jesus just texted in. Rob Schneider was also a carrot.
Yeah, and a stapler.
Yeah.
He was a stapler as well.
That was a good movie.
Ah, Christ, Wolfpack softball Jesus reminded me of the night that I was Cheese Man.
Oh, yeah.
But that was against my will. I was unconscious.
That was like an unofficial mascot.
Yeah, I don't think you can count that.
No, I shouldn't count that. I was unconscious from alcohol intake, staying awake for 2 days, taking drugs and alcohol. And I passed out on a couch, and they poured cheese over my head, and I became Cheese Man. That's I can't count that.
Wapple was STD man.
I had gonorrhea.
Remember that?
I forgot about that time.
Oh, Christ, and oh my God, this is a very elaborate Jesus name. Ex-Tomcat Mechanic Jesus. Ex-Tomcat.
Sweet.
I forgot I was Louis the Loon in one mascot race at Target Field.
Oh, did you win?
Oh, God, I was dead last by a lance. Oh, it was horrible. Horrible.
How many years ago was that?
Oh, probably a good 10 now, I think. How old am I now? Yeah, it's probably a good 10 years ago. It was really cool to be invited.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
None of the rest of you have had that?
That'd be sweet.
It was really cool to be invited. And, I mean, I didn't have any thoughts on coming close to winning. But I didn't think that it would be that bad. I knew I couldn't run anymore, not even close. But when we showed up down underneath the bleachers to get suited up, I noticed that the other 3-4 people were half my, I suppose half my age would be a little bit of an exaggeration. I was for sure the oldest by 10, 12 years. And they all had their running shoes on and their little jogging. They were
prepared.
Relatively young athletes.
Nicks in socks and sandals.
Well, actually, no. I had my big, giant fake work boots on. Yeah, I mean, because it was like an early season game, so it was relatively cool outside, which may have saved my life. Had it been 90 degrees, I might have dropped. No, so it was an early season game. It was still pretty cool. I had my big fake work boots on. And don't get me wrong, it was fun. But, I mean, I barely even got off the starting line. And the rest of those folks were just burning down the...
All right, I'm going to admit it. I do have some sort of pseudo-mascot experience. I don't even think I'm supposed to say this.
Talk to us, Cubby.
Yeah.
I have a side gig with the Atlanta Braves. I'm the Freeze.
No way.
Yeah.
I was just going to bring that dude up.
What do you mean by that dude?
The Freeze.
No, you mean me.
Yeah,
You're gonna
you.
bring Josh
yeah,
up.
you.
Did you just not hear the bit?
Yeah, you don't even listen to the show, bro.
Sometimes I think he's just...
I absolutely love that. You see him, and then you see the guy.
You see who?
The contestant against you.
Okay, there you go.
So when they're running, and it's like, oh, he's actually going to win. And then all of a sudden you see him trip and then just fall right on top of the warning track. Oh, I love it.
And their feet are going a little too fast for their body.
Yeah.
Dude, check this out. Cuckleberry Finn Jesus. No, this is a first for me. These last two Jesus names have been a first for me, and sometimes they're not that easy to read. Cuckleberry Finn Jesus. Oh, no. This is terrible. Speaking of mascot outfits, don't do this. Cockleberry Finn Jesus, I know we just met. And, you know, you don't know me from... But if I could give you some advice, don't do this. He says his sister wants him to wear a blow-up dinosaur costume for her Jurassic-themed wedding.
Oh, boy.
I'd fall for it.
That's awesome.
I still love those dinosaur costumes.
I do too.
Yeah,
I know
they
it's
get
an
me
old,
every time.
It's an old bit at this point, but I love it.
I love that bit too, but I hate wedding themes. I don't know. I think you should say no on this, Cuckleberry Finn Jesus. If there's ever a time for a man to take a stand, it's on the theme of his sister's wedding.
I wonder what he'll be doing.
I kind of want to marry his sister.
Oh, we're going to isolate that and send it to your fiancé.
You're going to have a friggin' theme at your wedding, aren't you?
No, we talked about this last, I think, Friday.
I know we talked about it.
Yeah, no, there's no
I'm
theme.
just not buying it yet.
There's no theme.
But you're a theme guy. Everything you do is a theme.
I guess, but no, there's no theme at our wedding.
You had a themed wedding, your second wedding. Your theme was, I'm not going to invite any coworkers.
I'm going to tell people the Monday after I got married, tell my coworkers that I did it.
You caught me.
You're going to tell one guy at work, that's your theme.
You are the only guy I told.
I know.
I didn't tell you guys I got married? No, Nick, you didn't.
That was pretty good. Oh, I thought of the other thing I did over the weekend. The car show at the State Fair. You know how people line up there in Snelling?
Oh, yeah.
We stood around and watched some of that. Some pretty sweet cars.
Oh, I
My
thought that
parents went to that.
I thought that had already happened.
It seems like there's a couple of them, right?
It was back to the 50s, and now the most recent one's just the standard car show, right?
So
There was a bunch of everything.
Okay.
I mean, pretty much whatever you want to see there was there.
you parked yourself in a lawn chair and just watched the cars go by?
We just sat in the tailgate in a parking lot.
Man, a two-activity weekend for Josh.
Well, it was all in one day.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Oof.
I wouldn't do it 2 days in a row. That's ridiculous. Yesterday, I didn't get out of bed.
Same.
What? Now we're talking. Cowrupt Jesus. Cowrupt. Cowrrupt. Maybe he's a shady farmer or something. Cowrupt Jesus. He was the mascot for the grand opening of his neighborhood Burger King. He was a giant Whopper.
That's cool.
Fun.
That's a good burger.
Yeah.
He was a giant Whopper sandwich. That's the coolest thing I've heard all morning, Cowrupt Jesus.
Yeah, send a picture if you got one. I'd like to see that, but that was cool.
What was this now?
My favorite part so far this morning is when Dana said he doesn't want to marry the girl he's engaged to. You guys all remember that, right?
Yeah. We'll make it a promo.
Yeah.
Saying a Jurassic Park themed wedding seems awesome.
If you want to have a little more fun. Oh, wait a minute. I was about ready to branch into a new topic, but I just looked at the time. We can save that for later. I'm sorry. It's our first day back after the weekend. I'm a little rusty. I was about ready to start a whole new problem for us, Josh, and I looked at the clock.
Well, hey, I started it with the wrong date for when Cleveland was invented.
Yeah, you did.
It's a couple hundred years off.
Wapple piggybacked on that with some terrible math.
Oh. If you want terrible math, I'm your guy.
Wow, we have other listeners who have mascot experience. Their resume isn't as deep as mine, but I wouldn't expect it to be. Snot Rocket Sheezes was Roscoe, the mascot for the Milwaukee Admirals. Is that a baseball team? Yeah, baseball team. She was the mascot for the Milwaukee Admirals baseball team for one summer. Roscoe the Admiral, I guess. I'm not familiar with Roscoe.
Me either.
Oh,
He makes it sound like it was a little bit of work. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it'll cook you. It will.
looks like it's an American Hockey League team.
Oh, right.
Oh, he is cute.
That is a hockey team. But she mentions baseball in here somewhere. Anyway, good for you, Snot Rocket Cheeses. All right, we got to get going. Coming in a little bit later on this morning, around 8:20, Dr. P. Jesus. And we expect a visit from, of course, Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder at around 7:30. Going to be a great week. Thanks for joining us. We'll be right back on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Are you ready to beat the heat this summer? Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is here to help you say goodbye to sweltering heat and hello to ultimate comfort. Ashley, what specials do they have going on this month?
Celebrate Christmas in July with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Get huge savings with $1,776 off a new multi-head ductless system. Visit standardheating.com to discover all the goodies in Santa's bag.
Welcome to Talkville, the ultimate Smallville rewatch podcast. Let's get into season 4, episode 21, Forever.
Is there a button we can hit that just skip?
I know. What I'm surprised about, and I don't think there's anything he could have done, but James Marshall directed this, and he's directed so many great episodes.
It's collecting the paycheck.
This would have been an epic episode if somehow it was Lex Luthor's high school experience at graduation.
Binge seasons 1 through 4 of Talkville before season 5 begins, wherever you listen.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
We love mascots on this radio show. We found out the Star Tribune's looking for a mascot, someone to hire for the summer. And some of you are qualified, by God, our listening audience.
There's a lot of people who have experience as a mascot.
It's impressive.
Qualified through past work experiences. Here's some of the texts that I received. Ninja Turtle Nutcase Jesus. Oh, well, this is not, this is his mother. He said his mother was the Minnetonka skipper. Poop Pumping Jesus was once a mascot for a 7-Eleven store. He was a giant slushy.
That's cool.
One of our listeners got to be McGruff the crime dog when they were in 8th grade, and they were high when they did it.
That is so trippy.
When I was a teenager.
That doesn't seem right.
No, I don't.
He's anti-drugs.
Well, he's anti-crime.
Oh, yeah.
Did McGruff ever take any real serious stances on drugs, Josh?
Back in the day, that would qualify, right? I mean, certain drugs I know are not
I suppose.
criminalized.
When I was a teenager, a listener says, I worked a gig dressed as Snoopy. And he says hot chicks love hugging Snoopy. Now, this listener currently works for a water department, and they have a mascot now, and it's his gig. As a matter of fact, he performed as this mascot for the first time this past weekend. It's a character called Willie Water, and he's just simply a drop of water.
It's cute. He sent a picture of him.
Oh, I got to check that out.
Now, he would like to join us sometime. He said, could Willie Water join you at an event sometime? Well, I don't know. A good place for mascots, you obviously clear this with your boss. A good place for mascots is the State Fair, and I think we'll be swinging by there once or twice. Maybe talk to the boss about Willie Water stopping by our State Fair booth.
Willie Water and David Lee Roth can fight. They can box it out.
We don't want any fights. We just don't.
Didn't David Lee Roth quit?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if the mascot went. I wasn't sure if the mascot went with that.
I don't know. How does that work?
I think our mascot quit. Maybe we're looking for a new David Lee Roth.
Yeah, we might be, actually.
Yeah.
Bearded Bastard Guy was a green I'll say this, I will. Bearded Bastard Guy. I was a green M&M for the grocery store I worked at in high school.
Oh, that's the sexiest M&M.
Mm-hmm, without a doubt.
Another one of our listeners was Peppy the Pizza for Broadway Pizza.
Hurling Jesus was the Gedney Pickle for about 5 years. Did the State Fair, grocery store openings, Saint Games.
That's awesome.
That's sweet.
The Gedney Pickle. Delicious. And finally, one of our listeners by the name of Tony was the mascot for his high school over there at Totino Grace. He was the Eagle. And by damn, he went on beyond that to be the WB mascot, Michigan J. Frog. Frog. You've heard of that character, right?
Of course.
Definitely.
It's iconic.
That's great. What an impressive list. All of you should be sending, if you're interested, send a resume to Star Tribune. They're looking for a mascot. I got to tell my high school mascot story again, don't I, Josh? About the soccer championship game.
Why not?
God knows why I went to our high school's soccer championship game, but I did. When they played in the final there at the old Metrodome, We piled into the car. We went to watch our high school soccer team play in the state championship. And not one of us cared at all about the end result of the game. But I'm sitting in the stands. We're slightly intoxicated. And I look to my left, and coming down the long aisle at the old Metrodome, coming down the stairs, is a massive chicken mascot. And the crowd is going crazy, and he's high-fiving everyone in the crowd. And on our side of this, you know how you got your student sections, we had one side of the building, and then the opposite club, I think it was St. Louis Park, maybe, where they were to our right. So this chicken is filing through our cheering section, and everyone's going wild and screaming, laughing, having a good time. And then this chicken is preparing to hop over the guardrail down onto the floor, down onto the playing surface. But before he did, I had to know who this person was. So I said, "Hey, dude, who are you?" And he lifts up the chicken mascot, the chicken head mascot, just high enough to where I can identify him. He's a dude from my class, a guy I go to high school with. And I could tell he was blasted off his ass. I mean beyond intoxicated. And sure as hell, he hops over the rail down onto the playing field. And now we're going absolutely nuts. He's not supposed to be there. And he's on the sideline, prancing around like a damn chicken. Just what a great bit. Then he decides to go over to the opposite club. I don't know. It was an eagle. St. Louis Park is in the Eagles. What's St. Louis Park's mascot?
I'm not sure.
There's some kind of bird. The Oriole. Anyway, the opposite club, I swear, was an eagle. So he's a chicken. He walks over to the eagle mascot, and they're kind of beak to beak, and the crowd is in full roar. And then my pal in the chicken costume gives the eagle mascot a terrible beating. Oh, God. Just he pounds this other individual down onto the ground. And we're all going, "Oh, my God."
Was it an Oriole? Is that what it was?
I think it was an eagle.
Okay.
So it might not have been. It doesn't matter.
St. Louis Park, it looks like might be an Oriole.
Yeah, they're the Orioles. Maybe it was Bloomington Kennedy, whatever. It was he beats the other mascot until it's down on its back. And it gives up. And then the opposite mascot pulls the head off of itself, and it's a girl, and she's crying.
Oh, no.
Ah! It's terrible.
No.
And then they put my buddy in the chicken costume. They put him in handcuffs, took him to jail.
No way.
Is he currently residing in St. Peter, or is that a different buddy?
That's a different buddy.
Different one.
This dude, the dude who was in the chicken costume, who was very remorseful, he did not know he was giving a 15-year-old girl a beating on the floor. He must have, in his drunken state, he must have assumed, sexist as it was, that it was another guy in the costume. I still run into him once in a while. He's a very, very successful man. He regrets the balls off of that night. He was a 17-year-old kid. Give him a break. He had too many beers. But every time I see him, he says, "You have to stop telling that story."
No, never.
He's like, I'm a dad now. For God's sake, I'm a businessman. Please stop telling that story. But I won't. Because it was that awesome.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That poor girl.
Yeah, that sucks.
She just starts crying.
I mean, he was just windmilling punches.
Oh,
Just,
no.
Ah!
Definitely.
Ah!
She's definitely still traumatized to this day.
She probably hates mascots.
Yeah, I wonder when she came to from the concussion and the swelling went down and stuff like that. Whatever happened to her? Have you heard? You probably don't even know.
She's now Madonna.
Really?
She turned out to be Madonna. I have no idea. But of course, I hope she's doing well. I do.
We all do.
Yeah, we do.
Have you seen Madonna lately? Because she looks like she just got beat up by a mascot.
Oh, my God.
Really? I haven't seen her.
Yeah, it's
Check
rough.
that out.
You'd think you've got all the money in the world. You could afford the best plastic surgeons, but she must have had a coupon or something.
Oh, yeah. A Groupon for sure. Yeah.
She opted for the worst ones.
She had a coupon. That's good. No. All right. Let's make our way through the stupid news here as best we can. Oh, the poor bastards in a tiny, sleepy little British village. They never saw him coming until they saw him coming. Last Thursday, this little village was invaded by a group of swingers. The swingers came jiggling into town and started folding each other in half before you could say Jack Robinson.
The only time I've been around a group of swingers would be when I was with you on those Jamaica trips we used to go in back in the day.
Yes.
And they'd have like swinger T-shirts.
Yes.
Things like that.
Yeah, I got familiar with those people, probably more familiar than I should have.
I only met a swinger once, and it was when I was a server. And they were very well known for being swingers, and I was warned ahead of time they're probably going to ask you something along those lines, and they did. But they were not a desirable couple.
Oh.
Same.
It was a bummer. I was like, really?
What do you mean same? You've been asked to be a part of a swing?
Nobody asked you to be part of a swingers group, Wapple. Stop it right now.
Yes, they did, but I think it was more because of my ex.
It was 100% because of your ex.
Yep.
Yeah, if I'm ever asked to be a part of that, I'd imagine they'd tell, my significant other the correct place to go, and they'd put me on a wild goose chase. Yeah, I would know for sure it wasn't because of me that I was asked. Dana, you grew up in Egan.
Yeah.
There is a very big swinger hotspot in Egan.
Yeah, my ex used to work right by it. We went there unknowingly just because it was a bar. We thought, then we found out later. I guess it's like code if you order a basket of fries. That means you're down to party.
What?
Can you imagine?
That's way too common of an
Yeah, I was
item.
going to say, that can't be right. I mean...
It's got to be Parmesan fries, or what do they call those? Garlic fries.
Yeah.
It can't just be a basket of fries. Someone's going to go to jail if that means we're swinging now.
I think that was her saying you've put on a little weight, your girlfriend, and maybe she just wants you to stay off the fries.
Chili fries. There's got to be something more elaborate.
There's like a 12-year-old. All of a sudden, he gets the fries.
Yeah. I'd like a tap beer, please. Oh, somebody's down to swing.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a little too common.
I got too familiar with that swingers group down there in Jamaica. I did. But there was another group, and I've told you this before, that I regret saying no. I should have gone to their gangbang. Really, I should have. But I was young, and I thought, I also thought, well, they're not the best-looking people. And now I know as an older person that looks doesn't mean jack squat. Doesn't. Who the hell cares about looks anymore? But anyway, they were friendly people. This is not the group in Jamaica. This was this other group I was telling you about that I regret not going to there. They would come to my bar gigs way back 25 years ago. They would come to my bar gigs. They were very friendly. They were very drunk. And they would always, pardon me?
That was a sneeze from Wap.
I even turned my microphone off.
Yeah,
my
wow.
bad.
That got all the way over here.
Yeah, that was powerful.
I think you got some on me, and there's a big window between the two of us.
And they would always try to talk me into coming to their next fold out, their next group thing. And I said, no. It did turn really weird one night. And maybe this was why I, at the time, decided, hell no, I'm not going to. Because the husband, it was a husband-wife, the husband walks up to me at this bar gig and says, hey, I got something to show you. And I said, well, what is it? Well, you got to come over here. I got to show you kind of in private. Come over this way. And I said, all right, I'll be there in about 5 minutes. And I'm thinking to myself, well, what the hell? What's going on here? So I walk over, and he and his wife are at the bar together, and they're both very, very intoxicated. And the dude kind of pulls something out of a backpack or something, and it's wrapped in a towel. And I'm getting more and more afraid.
Yeah.
And he kind of unwraps what he brought for me, and it's a dildo.
Oh.
And I said, what's that?
Dildos? No.
And his wife is kind of smiling at me, very loaded. She's kind of giving me this weird smile. And he says, this is her dildo. This is my wife's dildo. She uses this all the time.
Is that so?
And I said, Okay.
Cool.
It didn't go the way he wanted, huh?
No, it
Didn't quite get the reaction he was hoping for.
And I went over to the other members of the 93X staff that I was working with, and I told them what had just happened. And I just said, who the hell brings a dildo into a bar? I mean, there's jokes there, like, I brought Wapple to it. Hey, who brings a dildo? But jokes aside, who wraps their wife's dildo in a towel, puts it in a backpack, and goes, okay, we're ready to go to the bar?
Yeah, do you just leave it in your car until the moment arises, and you're like, all right, now's the time to go get the dildo?
There's a guy that'll like looking at a dildo.
It's my wife. She uses it all. She used it earlier today. It's my wife's dildo.
Scary.
Was he looking for you to say, wow, coolest wife of all time?
Yeah, I don't.
How unique.
I don't know, but I should have had sex with all of them. I regret not having sex with all of them. I do. Should have gone to those parties. All right. What the hell was I talking about?
We're talking about the town taken over by swingers.
Tiny little British town, stupid British people, swingers come to town. And the locals are pithed. The name of the little town there in Britain or England or whatever it is, the name of the town is Ellington. Next thing they know, a 4-day Swing-A-Thon has rolled into town. That's what they're calling it, the Swing-A-Thon. 1,000 of them. F me running. 1,000 swingers descend upon your town. Picture this. Bunch of beer-bellied people in their 40s and 50s. D's swinging, asses jiggling. One of the organizers of the Swing-A-Thon, someone called Carrie Volner, said, the event offers a very social and safe space for people from different lifestyles to meet new people. Yeah, that's cute. We have bars and restaurants and whatnot for that. I don't know why they just don't say, we're here to smash each other's genitalia into dust, and we want you to notice us.
Just be honest about it.
Why can't they be truthful about it, Josh? Why do they try to sell it as a social event where people can... It's silly.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they think that's a way to take a little less heat from locals, or I'm not sure.
We are here.
Or add some level of importance. They're more refined than the rest of us.
We are here to leave a pool of fluids. And we want you to notice us. I want a swingers club just to make that announcement.
Make T-shirts like that.
Pools of fluid.
We want folks to notice that we're different. Just say it. They do have other attractions at the Swinger Showdown, Josh. It says here, fire breathers, pole dancers, acrobats.
Wow, that sounds pretty cool.
And you can probably bend one of those folks over a sawhorse, too, if you're lucky. I don't know. I would imagine the performers might be in on the gimmick, but...
No. Keep the fire lit. Let's do this. I'd like to have sex with a fire breather.
Would you?
Have you ever seen one in person?
It is pretty cool.
It's awesome.
Just Gene Simmons, I guess.
Have you guys ever seen a pole dancer in person?
Oh.
It's awesome.
A couple.
Cubby, I mentioned that there are other activities. It says here... Oh, no. It says here, they're going to play something called butt plug bingo.
Oh, wow.
Boy.
I don't know what that is.
How does that work? Yeah.
I don't know.
Huh.
I don't know how to play butt plug bingo.
I
Maybe
wonder
that's
if you
the prize.
Yeah, you win bingo and you get a butt plug. It's like how they have that purse bingo.
Boy, I hope that's not all there is to it. Right? I mean, wouldn't that be kind of boring? What? Butt plug bingo? How do you play? Well, we're just going to play regular bingo and you win a butt plug. Oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's a fidget spinner butt plug.
That better not be it.
Yeah, I bet we're one of those taco holding butt plugs that we got sent pictures of the other week.
All right, from what the story tells me here, part of the reason, this is unbelievable. Part of the reason the locals in this little town are really irritated is there's already a similar is how you say it. There's already a similar festival going on. A fetish festival called Fet Fest has already staked down their tents in town, and then here come the swingers too.
Uh-oh.
So the locals are thinking, Jesus, if I'm not careful, I'm going to get some on me. You know what I mean?
Everybody's horny in that town. I think the fetish fest would be more fun to people watch.
Oh, definitely.
See what's going on there, by far.
yeah, you'd see some things.
I might get scared there, though, too.
You'd be in a gimp outfit, so we wouldn't be able to see your face.
Yeah. Wouldn't be able to see the tears either.
The swingers I've been around, they look like normal people. But some of those fetish things would be pretty interesting.
Yeah, oh yeah, you would see some outlandish things. And you're exactly right. As soon as Wapple shows up at the Fetish Fest and says, hey, it's my first time, what role would you... Gimp.
Yeah, you'd have a ball gag in within 3 seconds.
They just have a stamp and they just stamp my forehead. Go over there, kid.
Alls I know is that it's a Fet Fest, and I feel like I don't know what I should do. Gimp.
God, when you're right, you're right.
Yeah, you'd be bent over a sawhorse real quick.
Neighborhood folks, where now they're dealing with not only beer-bellied swingers, but fetish people. They've already been calling the cops. They've heard, quote, screaming and moaning coming from out of nowheres, and it's keeping people awake at night. So good luck to that town. Brace yourselves. You got something ahead of you.
Have you ever driven by the convention center or something when they're having an anime con or a Comic-Con or something like that?
Yeah.
Well, I think you and I both have seen something like that. Our first ever, or one of the earlier Average Joe car shows we had in Bloomington, and there at the hotel there was a Comic-Con going on of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fun, people watching, and my goodness, do people dress provocative at some of those things.
It's a skin to win type of a situation at that Comic-Con.
It seems that way at times, doesn't it?
Have you ever drove by people in line for like a dubstep concert?
Oh,
Josh?
yeah.
If I did, I wouldn't know. Or what am I looking for?
Because my mom it felt the way you felt about like those Comic-Cons and all that kind of stuff when she drove by a dubstep line. Because she said, she called me and she was just like horrified. She was like, why do people dress like that, Ashley? Where are all their clothes? I would never let you out of the house like that.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's just like how people dress nowadays.
Yeah, that's what I told her. I was like, I hate to break it to you, Mom, but that's what's in.
I told you I was at the zoo on Saturday, and there was a couple of outfits there. I had to turn to my wife and go, can you even wear something like that? That doesn't seem right.
Is that legal?
I'll tell you what, a listener has sent me what I believe to be a legitimate chart, I guess is the word, for how to play butt plug bingo. And thankfully, it's not you just sit there and play regular bingo and then the prize is a butt plug. It's very elaborate. There are different numbers and letters you can land on where oral, humiliation, bondage, pain, and things are played out. I'm seeing some of the tasks you have to complete while playing butt plug bingo.
This doesn't look like bingo, and there's a whole list of things you need, and I don't know how you acquire that whole list.
Put clamps on your nipples, wearing a collar, urinating in a glass.
Tie a shoelace tight on your balls.
There's things like if one of the rules is the winner can F the loser in this game. I wish regular bingo was like that.
Way more exciting than I'm happy to see that it's a little more wide open than just sitting around playing a regular game of bingo. That sounds great. Butt plug bingo. Put on some girly underwears. Moan. You got to, oh God, you do a little bit of that. That's great.
Put on a bra and stuff it.
I'm sorry?
It says put on a bra and stuff it, like stuff your bra.
Well, that's boring.
Yeah, what's that one about?
Spank someone's ass 50 times. You think you could make it through 50, Josh, if I got your little bottom out and just...
Well, you know what?
You think you could make it 50?
We could try it out March 27th, 2025, when I'll be 50.
Oh!
I'll go through the spanking machine and see if I
yeah.
can get 50. Spanking machine. Are you allowed to do the spanking machine in 2025? I don't think so.
For you, they'll make an exception.
No, there's probably a hashtag out there. I don't think we'd be able to do it.
And then someone would film it, and then, that's a whole different problem.
That's right.
I would just like to be the host of a game of butt plug bingo. Do they need an MC or a host? I would love that gig.
Now, everyone take your dauber and put it up your butt.
Oh! If any of you swingers are looking to play butt plug bingo and you need a celebrity host, 651-989-9393. Ask for Ashley.
By the way, speaking of daubers, if you guys need one, for some reason I have way too many.
Really?
Way too many. Well, I know the reason is we where we go play bingo sometimes, we always forget to bring them, so we have to buy more. I have a drawer full of them. It's insane.
I have the exact same problem.
The places I've been, they just let you just use one for the afternoon.
Yeah, you know what?
Well, aren't you lucky?
Well, dauber.
Josh,
I go to high-class bingo bars.
Yeah, I wish I went someplace that fancy.
I have the same problem, Cubby. I got a drawer full of daubers, and I never play bingo anymore. Ever.
It's been a while.
Because I get too drunk. They started so early in the day.
Dude, that's
right?
my dad.
Yeah, I don't play it anymore because I get too drunk. By the time bingo's over, there's still 3 hours of daylight left, and I'm hammered.
Me and my mom always end up doing my dad's bingo card because he drinks too much.
Just completely loses track.
I can't.
I'm always impressed by the people that can do a few of them.
Oh, I know.
My wife's like that. I can't do any more than 2, but she
Yep,
can do like
same
4
here.
at a time.
Especially for the coverall, people will have more than one. And I'm like, what are you doing?
No, I'm not wired for that. I have one card in front of me, and that's it. I don't get you 6, 7. Oh, God, what's the matter? How do you figure out? How do you follow? All right, let's see. Where are we going next year with the stupid news? Do you think you could go along with this? Whoever's running things over there in Hong, by God, Kong, the government, don't you know, they're telling the locals to smile more when they're out and about to try and improve tourism. Let me see a big smile, Josh. Oh, for Christ's sake, you got something in your teeth.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No, dude.
I had
Poor
vegetables
Josh.
yesterday.
But that was a very handsome smile.
Well, that's nice of you to
Yeah.
say.
But you do have something in your
day.
Yeah, it's like a whole
in your
piece of
teeth.
chicken.
Is that what it is?
It looks like a...
I did have one chicken wing on Saturday.
This is so effing dumb. So someone came up with a theory that folks in Hong Kong have a reputation for being rude, and they want to change that.
Well, it makes sense because, Ashley, you can comment on this. Women love it when you tell them to smile more.
Yeah.
So
My
why
favorite.
wouldn't the entire population of Hong Kong feel the same way?
So the word is going around that the staff at local restaurants have been too rude lately. Same goes for the local taxi cab drivers. And they think that's why tourism numbers are down.
I feel like those people are always kind of crabby.
Yeah, you know how it is. No one goes to New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people can't wait to go to stupid New York City, and they're all a pack of dicks over there. So I'm not sure about this Chinese deal. They're going to change the vibe, and they're starting with the kids. They're going to fire up programs to teach courtesy to children. How silly. And they're telling all grown folks, when you're out and about, smile more, it'll increase. Shut up.
Doesn't that seem more creepy? You just
Yes.
know everyone that's smiling is really miserable on the inside.
Yeah.
Maybe
Just
that's
hiding
actually
their
more
pain.
common than I'd want to believe.
I don't know.
Yeah,
know.
you might not want to know the results of that.
God darn it. I wish I never came up with that. You're smiling right now, Wapple. Is that hiding the pain?
Oh boy, the bigger the smile, the more pain I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes all I can do is laugh to keep from crying.
Yep.
All right, you never know. You just never know. When it might be time to meet your damn maker. All you can do is hope that you don't go out in a really stupid way and you end up in somebody's stupid news report. This here gal wasn't so lucky. She was not so lucky. A gal in, how do you say it? India. She dropped 3 stories to her death after someone hugged her when she wasn't quite ready for it. She was hugged by a male coworker. She lost her balance, and she went ass over apple cart 3 stories down. Of course, there's security video, haunting security video, that recorded her final seconds. I got to spell this out for you. It looked to be an office building. And they're out, I saw the video, they're out in the hallway of an office building with escalators and whatnot going in all directions. You follow what I'm saying here?
Yep.
The poor gal's up against the railing with nothing but empty space behind her. She's jaw-jacking with this dude, and he suddenly gives her a bear hug, and both of them fell towards the railing, but she was the only one who went all the way down skis. The man who hugged her almost went all the way over too, but he hung on to the rail. This video's effed up.
It's awful.
Yeah, it's not good.
Effed up.
The railings in India need to be higher. That was way too low. I'm surprised we don't hear about this more from that specific office building. That was insane. It's like the lady we talked about a couple weeks ago in Indonesia who stepped off the back of a treadmill and fell out an open window.
Oh, God.
Oh, right. Fell off a treadmill and went through a window?
Yeah.
Yeah, things like this shouldn't be able to happen.
F me running. All right. The lady was a 31-year-old. She worked as a cleaner in the building. For Christ's sake, she had a couple of kids. There's a police investigation going on. It just looked like a freak effing accident to me. I can't imagine what the dude is feeling right now. My damn.
Oh, shoot, the guilt? Absolutely. I recoiled from a hug the other day a little too much. I wasn't expecting. So I could see falling over a railing, something like that.
We ran out of time here, but I can't end with a lady falling to her death. Here we go again. The selfie people. The ones who need to take pictures with dangerous wild animals. You know that crowd?
Yep.
What a bunch of clowns. Wildlife officials in a southern state are trying to convince morons to stop taking selfies with a certain, quote, depressed bear that hangs around the woods near town. Did you see the picture, Josh, of the depressed bear?
I sure did, and it did look depressed.
Oh, I'm not going to look at it.
He looks heartbroken.
Yeah.
I'll end up crying.
And he just kind of hangs out. He hangs out in the neighborhood. He comes out the woods once in a while and kind of hangs out where people drive by. And he just looks, he's heartbroken by something. I don't know if his old lady left him or what.
He doesn't. I think he got fired recently. I don't think he had a look of somebody that just wanted to be alone.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't necessarily need somebody to come over and take a picture with.
Yeah, but here come the social media idiots. Here come the 8th graders and the social media dorks. Whatever. I say let the morons F around. And then the emo bear pulls a cheekbone off of somebody's face, right? F the morons. You're screwing around where you shouldn't be.
Darwinism.
Mm-hmm. But then don't shoot the bear after the bear tears somebody's jaw loose. The bear has showed great patience. He has for a long time. The bear is clearly not in the mood for pictures, shows signs of severe stress, the sheriff's office said. So, yeah, they're putting out this announcement in the neighborhood. Stop playing around with this depressed bear, or someone's going to have a vein pulled out of their neck.
Say I'm going to kill the bear! Say it! I'm going to kill the bear! Yeah, damn right. Today, I'm going to kill the motherfucker.
Dude. But don't you agree? I mean, he's not trying to butt into anybody else's business. Every once in a while, he likes to come a little ways out the woods, lean up against a certain tree, and just feel bad about his life.
Poor bear.
But people got to rush up. People were lined up taking pictures with this bear.
Leave the bear alone.
Effing you social media people. Who are you yelling at? This is your problem, Ashley.
This poor bear.
You're a social media dork.
I shouldn't have looked it up. It made me really sad.
He looks so sad.
He just sits down and he's like,
yeah.
Another day.
I mean, any bear. Bad idea to take a selfie with, but one that's having a bad day? Come on, man.
Mm-hmm.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
I want to thank my brothers, Jake and Bill. You were my first teammates and opponents, and I credit them for giving me thick skin. If I wanted to play with the older kids, then I needed to prove to them that I could, and you two were always willing to give me that chance. I want to thank you for never taking it easy on me, and for your support from the backyard days throughout my last game. I'm lucky to have you both as role models and friends.
He didn't say anything about coming on our radio show a couple months ago. Joe Mauer, I really enjoyed watching all of yesterday's Hall of Fame setup. That was great. I don't often get a chance to watch that sumbitch from start to finish, but I did yesterday. And that is such a cool event. Randy Shaver goes on and on about how it's his favorite effing place in the whole world. We talked to Dick Bramer about it last week. Dick was there yesterday. I don't like to travel, but someday maybe I should try to bring my sad ass over to Cooperstown and watch one of those deals in person, because that was really nice.
Twins fans obviously do. There were so many Twins fans there.
They had a big
Joe's
crowd.
speech
So
was
jealous.
awesome.
He did well.
Yeah, he really did.
He did very well, and I can't wait to repeat a joke that Jim Leland used in his speech. I want to save it for Brad Ryder and Randy Shaver, who are joining us in about a half hour, but Jim Leland did a great job, too. Joe Mauer finally went into the Hall of Fame yesterday. We're going to cover that up and down here in about a half hour. Twins upped and lost yesterday. They've lost a couple in a row now coming out the All-Star break to the friggin' Milwaukee Brewers. We can get into that and everything else, but we're running a little bit late, so I got to get the hell out of here. Josh's News is coming up next.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Are you ready to beat the heat this summer? Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is here to help you say goodbye to sweltering heat and hello to ultimate comfort. Ashley, what specials do they have going on this month?
Celebrate Christmas in July with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Get huge savings with $1,776 off a new multi-head ductless system. Visit standardheating.com to discover all the goodies in Santa's bag.
It's kickoff time, and Believe podcasts are here to get you ready for the season.
This team, they looked to figure it out, and they said, okay, we got a shot at this thing.
With Believe, you get immediate reactions, game previews, and expert analysis from all 32 teams, plus all of your favorite college teams.
This is a true junior that we're talking about.
Sideline to sideline, end zone to end zone.
The running was good. His size is unbelievable.
Just search Believe. That's BLEAV podcast, wherever you listen.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
Interfering with everything. It's interfering with communication for his family concerned, for the hospital's concerned, everything.
In 1999, Y2K, or the Millennium Bug, caused mass worldwide anxiety about the risks of power, air travel, and stock market outages due to computers. Y2K passed with barely a blip, but over 2 decades later, some web security experts say those fears have been realized thanks to a massive IT outage on Friday.
None of their computer systems were working. They actually mentioned at the gate their rebooking systems were down, their hotel systems were down, their ability to get bags off the plane were down.
The cause of the wide-scale disruptions was triggered when U.S. cybersecurity company CrowdStrike deployed a faulty software update to computers running Microsoft Windows, wreaking havoc on the systems that airlines, hospitals, and a slew of other industries relied on.
The system was sent an update. That update had a software bug in it and caused an issue with the Microsoft operating system. We're deeply sorry for the impact that we've caused to customers, to travelers, to anyone affected by this.
It just amazes me that one company with a software update can screw up the whole world. They don't have a backup plan, one stuck air traveler said. Nearly every flight in the U.S. was grounded, but not Southwest Airlines, because they're using Windows 3.1, an operating system that's 32 years old.
Good for them.
Southwest's reliance on Windows 3.1 and Windows 95, which has been criticized in the past, seems to have saved their butts this time, avoiding a major tech meltdown. Government agencies in Minnesota also felt the impact. Around 12:30 a.m., Hennepin County 911 services were unable to use crucial computer programs. Dispatchers had to resort to using pen and paper to take down calls and then use a radio instead to transfer those emergency service needs to police officers versus doing it on a computer. That process lasted for about 5 hours. Across the state, other agencies plagued with outages included the Department of Vehicle Services, who without computers couldn't offer written exams. Many fast food restaurants, online ordering wasn't working as well.
I'll tell you who really had a problem with it, Valvoline. I got my oil changed on Friday, and I was not prepared, but they had to do every single thing by hand. They even had to write down your own your credit card information for that so that they could charge you later. I was like, oh, geez.
Yeah, it was funny. We got texts on Friday saying, how is it possible the world nothing is working on computers, but your equipment is working?
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. I think our equipment sucks so bad And it is so old that it was not affected whatsoever.
Yeah, we have World War II era equipment here.
So Cumulus was laughing to the bank.
Yep.
So you're telling me there was a chance last Friday that this program just would have been knocked off the air and we could have gone home?
Well, depending on what you're using, yeah.
Oh,
It was eerie driving by the airport, seeing all those parked planes. The last time I remember seeing something like that was September 11th, just with the planes down there.
Oh, it must have been creepy inside of the airport, too.
And we were just talking about Joe Mauer. I had friends that were going to fly to Buffalo to then drive to Cooperstown to see Joe Mauer's induction. They couldn't get on a plane, so they just rented a car and drove to Cooperstown.
Whoa.
After the flight he was on was diverted to Jacksonville, Florida, because he made 2 separate claims his then-girlfriend had a bomb on board, dumped his drink on her, and called her a bitch. 41-year-old Evan Sims had just one question for the FBI agent interviewing him as bomb detection dogs searched the fuselage. How effed am I? He asked. The drama unfolded on Breeze Airways Flight 717, December 5th. Sims was arguing with his girlfriend, threatened to vape, made inappropriate comments, and was aggressive with staff. Don't stop me. I'm about to vape. I'll do it.
Check out these clouds.
Witnesses reported his disruptive behavior. An off-duty police officer on board alerted the pilot, leading to the flight's diversion. Upon landing, bomb detection dogs searched the plane, and Sims claimed he was joking about the plane going down. He had an explanation as to what people thought they heard.
Anytime you say bomb at the airport, you go to jail. Who said bomb?
Sir, I said calm and somebody thought I said bomb.
There's a calm on this plane, everybody.
That guy sounded like a grown person.
Yeah, he's a grown person, 41.
He's acting like a damn child.
As the interview wrapped up, that's when Sims turned to the agent and asked how much trouble he was in. He said, "How effed am I?" As for how effed he was sentenced to 2 years in prison and has to pay about $25,000 in restitution to the airline.
2 years in prison, huh?
Yeah. The case of a mysterious item found in a Tacoma driveway earlier this month has been solved. The severed finger has been reunited with its rightful owner. During the afternoon of July 5th, officers responded to a report of a finger found in a driveway. An update Thursday said a person saw the news story and called to claim that finger. That finger's mine. The man that was identified admitted to losing multiple digits messing around with fireworks. Latent print on the recovered finger corresponded with information about that person in an FBI database. Police say charges won't be pursued, and they believe the finger was left on the property by an animal.
Some bitch lost a bunch of fingers lighting off fireworks. He never collected them?
No, it sounded like he didn't even get treatment. They were saying they checked hospital records and stuff, and they couldn't figure out that this guy went to the doctor.
Wouldn't you guys pick up your fingers if you blew them off with a rocket?
Yeah.
He must have been blasted or something.
Yeah, put them in the cargo pocket of your shorts and head off to the hospital.
Owie.
Yeah, I can't imagine. A man rescued from being trapped for hours at the bottom of a narrow 40-foot pipe in Portland, Oregon, said he has no clue how he got stuck there.
How did he get in there? How long was he in there? I mean, it's just kind of a weird scenario.
Did he trip and fall down there? Was it just a freak accident where he went tumbling down there?
Portland Fire and Rescue responded to a report of a person stuck in a hole after people in a nearby building heard a man screaming for help.
Tenants in the building heard him yelling for several hours, and then I figured out where he was at, and then eventually called 911.
When responders arrived at the scene, they heard a man yelling from the bottom of a 40-foot deep ventilation pipe from a nearby parking garage.
He was definitely inside the piping for a ventilation system. Our tech rescue team arrived on scene, quickly set up their equipment, and hauled him out vertically up the 40-ish foot shaft that he was down in.
What do you mean he doesn't know how he got down there?
He claims he doesn't know. The pipe was only about a foot wide. Crews were able to quickly free the man, and when he was out, he told responders he woke up in the hole and has no idea how he wound up there.
He knows how he got down there. He just doesn't want to say it.
A 59-year-old Indian man walked into an elevator to head to a doctor's appointment around noon Saturday, July 13th, and didn't get out until the following Monday when the doors finally opened. The ordeal started when the poor fellow found himself unable to exit the elevator after it got stuck between the first and second floors. He called the emergency number provided inside but got no answer. He repeatedly rang the alarm bell, but nobody noticed. I began panicking and started banging on the doors to attract attention. That's when my phone fell on the floor and stopped working, he said. I shouted and screamed for help and tried pulling apart the doors with my hands. Then the light went out. He had no food or water, but he did have to poop and pee.
Oh, I bet he did.
He said, when I got tired, I slept in one corner. Then, he said what we all feared. I had to use another corner to pee and poop.
Mm-hmm. God dang.
Everybody's got to have a pee and poop corner.
His thoughts turned to whether he would end up dying there. His family, meanwhile, filed a missing persons report and even searched the building.
Will I die here?
No one knew he was stuck between floors. Thankfully, the man was finally freed about 6 a.m. that following Monday, some 42 hours later, when an elevator operator arrived at work and let him out.
Oh, God.
Oh, I bet the smell was awful.
Oh, especially in that one corner, you know?
Just terrible.
Oh, God.
A motorist lost control of their car, went airborne, and crashed into the roof of a garage in a southeastern Minnesota home Thursday, about 10:30 a.m. in the city of La Crescent, just across the Mississippi from across.
A beautiful little town, Cubby.
The motorist drove off County Road 25, down a steep embankment, and onto the home's attached garage below.
This is kind of a bizarre incident. You look at the garage, it's a godsend that nobody was home.
The motorist was hospitalized and said to be in stable condition as of Thursday evening. In a similar tale of a bizarre accident, an 18-year-old man was severely injured after he lost control of a motorcycle and crashed off the top of a parking structure in Detroit.
God dang, he went off the top of it like in a Bruce Willis movie.
Right off the top of that thing.
How's he doing?
He's hurt pretty bad, he said. Yeah, but he's still alive.
Just couldn't get his thumb off the throttle?
I guess he didn't have experience. He was test riding his friend's motorcycle when he lost control, struck the barrier wall, and flung right over the edge to the ground below. An investigation is ongoing.
I saw a guy.
Like it wasn't too good.
I saw a guy do something cute many, many years ago when we were young. Friend of ours, drunk off his ass. He's got a motorcycle, and we told him at this beer party. We said, "Dude, don't drive your motorcycle out of here. You're hammered. You just bought the damn thing. You really don't know how to operate it yet." And his famous last words, he said, "I could drive this thing drunk better than any of you wussies could sober. So long, suckers." So we said, "Fine, F you." He fired it up, drove it down the driveway, and just tipped it over.
I've seen that a couple times.
Laid there with it under him. We had to go pull it off of him. Yeah, you're the best, no doubt about it. You can drive it better drunk than any of us can sober.
I don't know if this guy was drunk or not, but leaving school over there at Normandale, kid pulled up to the stop sign on his motorcycle and just, I don't know if he forgot to put his feet down or what, but he just tipped over the side.
Oh, I'd hate myself.
And I went to help him, lift it off him because he couldn't get the motorcycle off him. And he was a total dick. Maybe he was just embarrassed.
He was embarrassed.
Yeah, definitely.
He forgot to put his feet down, or it was the oddest thing.
He was there to make a statement. It went sideways, and he was just venting at you when you came to help.
And then I was at a motorcycle, now defunct motorcycle shop, and there was a kid there, young guy. His mom helped him buy a Yamaha R1, right? Powerful motorcycle. And they were trying to talk him down, say, "Why don't you get the 6? You don't have any experience?" He's like, no, I'm good. I passed my test. I want to get the R1. And I saw him, I don't think it was on purpose, as he's getting on the freeway, do a wheelie, and he went right over and destroyed that thing awful quick.
Oh, no.
A man who police said caused a crash while driving under the influence last Monday in South Carolina said the other driver should have been more alert because he was the sober one. Charleston police found 2 overturned vehicles at an intersection. He's got a point. 24-year-old Ray Hernandez told officers the other driver ran a red light and crashed into him. But police noted there's no traffic light at that intersection, but there was a stop sign, which he blew through. During the investigation, police said Hernandez admitted to consuming 5 Cerveza Victorias and said he wasn't that drunk because it takes 10 to 15 beers to make him too messed up to drive, he claimed. However, police said at the crash scene, he did claim he was drunk, and as a matter of fact, said it wasn't his fault, since he's the one who's drunk, asserting that the other driver should have been more alert because he wasn't drunk and could have avoided the crash.
Yeah, that's how that works.
Yeah, some serious stretching logic there.
Well, when you're drunk, it probably makes more sense.
Good point.
Then in Missouri, perhaps a nod to the upcoming Summer Olympics, a seemingly routine traffic stop resulted in an impressive athletic feat, especially for a drunk guy. Just before 3 a.m. Friday, police pulled over a driver on suspicion of driving under the influence. Police said when officers asked the suspect to raise his leg, he instead performed a handstand. A post from the department on social media said, while this may seem amusing, it's a reminder impaired driving puts everyone on the road at risk. Police said the suspect was taken into custody and charges are pending. You can see that video on 93x.com.
Well, that's impressive. Can you do a handstand?
No.
I couldn't even come close to do a handstand.
Not at all. I've tried a couple times and failed miserably.
I do like a half handstand.
Can you really?
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever do gymnastics as a kid?
No, but I yoga.
What's a half handstand?
Like I can
Just
do
lean
it on
forward
like my I guess on my forearms.
I guess I'd have to see this played out.
Oh, okay. So you can kick your legs all the way up on your forearms? Even?
Yep.
Impressive.
Thank you.
Joseph Weaver, a former Jacksboro, Tennessee Police Department employee, is accused of stealing cans of Vienna sausages in order to vandalize the home of Jimmy Snodgrass, the city's vice mayor.
He had it coming, though.
Sergeant Tasha Tackett called July 11th to investigate an incident that Chief Daniel Smith said involved disgruntled ex-employees and tiny wieners. While on the scene, Tackett said he found evidence of the vandalism, cans of Vienna sausages in the street, and 2 of the home's windows were busted. Snodgrass woke up about 11 p.m. to several loud thumps, and after looking around his house, he found the broken windows and various cans of Vienna sausages around the residence.
What's the problem? What's he got against Mr. Snodgrass?
Well, it's not real clear. It sounds like he resigned, this officer, right? Or police department employee. I guess I'm not sure it was an officer. And he was pissed at the vice mayor for some reason. So something to do with his resignation. The disgruntled employee was caught on camera at a Walmart self-checkout buying only 7 of the 15 cans of Vienna sausages he walked out with. A witness said after drinking numerous alcoholic beverages, Weaver was agitated about an incident in which he resigned from his employment at the police department and thought the sausage assault was going to be funny.
Interesting weapon of choice, wouldn't you say, Cubby?
Well, I'm wondering if there's a tiny wiener reference in there.
Oh.
Like, hey, you got a tiny wiener.
Oh, God help
Maybe
us.
I'm reading too much into it.
No,
I don't know.
you might be right.
Maybe that's just what I'd assume. Like, oh, man, they didn't even go bun length. They went tiny.
Or maybe a reference, it's a pork-related product. We're talking about cops. You see the route I'm taking here?
Could be, yeah, I don't know.
You might be right with the wiener reference, though.
Weaver was charged with vandalism and theft.
I bet they'll go smooth through a window, though, a can of Vienna sausages.
Oh, yeah, he broke 2 of them.
Definitely.
They'll have very trouble going through a window.
A 1-hour special celebrating the life and career of Bob Newhart, called Bob Newhart, A Legacy of Laughter, premieres tonight on CBS. Bob, of course, passed away last week at the age of 94. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire began streaming today on Netflix. Ryan Reynolds and Tony Hale guest on Jimmy Fallon, and Stephen Colbert will have Keanu Reeves as his guest tonight. David Spade turned 60.
David Spade?
Yep.
Okay.
Speaking of wieners, there's a rumor he's got a giant one.
I've heard that, too.
I guess I could see it.
Willem Dafoe, 69, Danny Glover, 78, and happy belated birthday to T-Pack, Jesus' smoking hot wife, sits on baby Jesus, and that's 93X News.
Randy Shaver.
Wearing masks and robbing people in these back streets.
On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Joseph Patrick Mauer, Minnesota, AL 2004 through 18. Lifelong twin, was one of the most complete catchers in the game's history, producing at the Joseph Patrick Mauer, Minnesota, AL 2004 through 18. Lifelong twin, was one of the most complete catchers in the game's history, producing at the plate and behind the mask like few others. Deployed precise left-handed swing to become first AL catcher to win a batting title, securing 3 total, 2006, 2008, 2009. Most ever among backstops in AL-NL history. Earned AL MVP honors in 2009 when he hit .365, setting all-time record among those with 100 games caught in a season, and homered 28 times. First overall selection of 2001 MLB draft, was a 6-time All-Star, won 5 Silver Sluggers, and displayed athleticism behind the plate, earning 3 Gold Glove awards.
Manfred Johnson. It's Monday. It's a beautiful, beautiful Monday. Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder are with us. How you doing, you crazy bastards?
Good.
Good morning.
What a wonderful way to spend my Sunday yesterday, watching the Hall of Fame show from Cooperstown. Oh, I love that program.
Yes, I'm with you. It was very entertaining.
It finally happened. Joe Mauer was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. I thought he did a great job up there on stage, giving his speech.
Oh, he was awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Thought
especially compared to listening to Rob Manfred.
Manfred Johnson. He got booed, of course.
I thought he did a great job. I thought he hit on all the points that he needed to. He got emotional just once talking about his grandfather. But other than that, it was pretty much Joe Mauer, right? Very, straight to the point. He's not going to try and tell a joke that he can't tell.
No, it was what you'd expect from Joe.
Yep.
He was soft-spoken. Yep. He was very thoughtful. He passed a lot of credit on to others.
Yep.
Here's what Randy was referencing.
My dad and grandpa love the game, and they love to share their knowledge of the sport. They taught me that being successful takes a lot more than just athletic talent. At a young age, they instilled in me the values of hard work and dedication. They raised me on the golden rule of treating others the way you want to be treated, and always showing respect to my teammates, coaches, umpires, and opponents. They were my first and greatest role models, coaches and mentors. Even at the end of my career, as my grandpa's eyesight was failing, he would stand right next to his TV in a batting stance and go through my every at-bat as if he was swinging alongside me. I hope they are both looking down this afternoon with pride, knowing that all their time and hard work helped me get to this podium, standing here as a Hall of Famer.
You did good, Joe.
Yeah, you did. It was really good.
By God, you did good. It's finally real. It's finally real after all these years and after, waiting 1 year since he was named, since he was given the call. I said earlier, it's not often that I get to watch the Cooperstown Hall of Fame induction in its entirety, but I did yesterday. And I'll tell you what, when they introduce all the Hall of Famers who are in town and have them sit up on the stage with the new class of inductees, that in itself is worth tuning in for.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I find myself getting choked up.
I can't help it also, Randy Shaver. I was a mess yesterday afternoon. I was.
Yep. I find myself getting choked up because a lot of those guys are players, or not, I shouldn't say a lot. There's a few of those guys who are from the era of when I grew up. Mm-hmm. And to see them now, I feel so bad about Rod Carew, who came out with a cane, needed help to get into the chair. That made me very sad yesterday because, that's not the Rod Carew that I remember and have been around. And obviously we all are heading towards old age in one way or another. And for Rod, I'm so happy he was there, but felt bad that he was in the position that he was in. But I find myself getting that part. I agree with you, Nick. That part to me is probably the best part of all. Mm-hmm. I find myself clapping.
Yeah.
like I did for Tony, like I did for Jack. It's a very, very special thing that they do, and they do it every year the same way, and you look forward to it. And you try to think about some of the guys who, aren't around anymore, like Willie Mays and Whitey Herzog, and guys who would have been there had they been able to. So, yeah. It was pretty special.
And of course,
baseball sometimes does take a little bit of grief because, and unjustly so, and I'll explain why in a second. They take a little bit of grief because not many, the standards to get into the Hall of Fame, I think, at least in my mind, are a little bit more strict. There's fewer guys that get in other sports. It seems like when we announce the Basketball Hall of Fame inductees, it's usually like 10 or 12 a year, or, football's the same way. And football more because there's more players. But I think when days like yesterday happen, you appreciate it more. And I think that's why, like in a baseball induction ceremony, is probably a little bit more special because there's not as many people in there. And I think the people that are in there are extremely recognizable, whereas some other sports, maybe it's not the case.
Well, I mean, when you're talking about 1% of all the players who have played, I mean, that resonates so much with baseball fans because they realize that these guys truly are the greatest ever to play the game, and that's what makes it so special.
A couple of our listeners have texted in saying that Joe Mauer's plaque, the image on the plaque, was a terrible likeness of him.
Horrible.
That was rough.
Yeah,
that was rough.
Very bad.
They butchered that thing.
Yeah, nobody looked at that and said, let's take a second shot at this.
Well, having been to Cooperstown many times and have looked at all the plaques, I can tell you that there are not very many who match up to what they look like. So
That's
Joe
gotta be
Mauer is in company with a lot of baseball players who would probably say, gosh, that doesn't, like Tony Oliva's, I'm sorry, does not look like Tony Oliva.
I guess
I've been there too. I agree completely. I'd say at least over half of them, you look at them and you go, that's not what that guy looked like.
Exactly.
I didn't take a very close look at Joe's face.
The expression on his face.
Someone would have to show it to me. I mean, I guess that's always a concern. I'm not going to call it a fear, but maybe a concern of all the players that, boy, I hope it looks a little bit like me. So
it's like the plaque maker had a couple beers before he decided to get to work on.
Well, I guess Randy Shaver says it's very common, I guess. But it was really cool.
I just emailed it to you.
Okay.
Take a look at this.
It was really cool, obviously, with Joe being there, that they made sure these Twins Hall of Famers were there, like Bert Blyleven, who farted when he got up on the stage. I don't know if you Randy mentioned Rod Carew, Jim Cott, Paul Molitor, Jack Morris, Tony Oliva, Dave Winfield. And, I mean, that whole spiel, like I already stated, when they bring out, 40 or 50 of these all-timers, that's worth tuning in alone. I also got choked up a couple times seeing some of these guys that I just loved so much as a kid. And some of them, of course, look like they could still take the field. And I got aggravated a couple times at how some of these bastards are still hanging on to their good looks and they're 15 friggin' years older than I am. Paul Molitor and friggin' Eddie Murray, Harold Baines, these guys are still hot. They're still hot after all these years. But it was just a great show. Jim Leland was great.
Tremendous.
Great to see Jim Leland. I've mentioned it once or twice, 3 times since we learned that he was going in. One of my favorite all-time baseball characters, and he had a great friggin' line. Oh, man. I know.
That was good.
Jim Leland says, and how old would he be now? Is he 80 years old at this point?
He's got to be 80, isn't he?
That's my guess, 80 or 81.
Yeah.
Jim Leland. He had a great line. He says into the mic, after I got the call that I was going into the Hall of Fame, I had lunch with my wife. And I said, honey, did you ever imagine in your wildest dreams that I'd be going into the Hall of Fame? And she said, Jim, you're not in my wildest dreams.
I was having coffee with Katie a couple weeks after I was elected to the Hall of Fame. And I casually said, Katie, can you believe in your wildest dreams that I've been elected to the Hall of Fame? And Katie replied, Jim, you're not in my wildest dreams.
That was the line of the day.
That's
What a
such an
friggin'
older guy
pimp.
joke.
What a
it
pimp.
is. Yeah, that's a dad joke.
Yeah, I could see my dad saying something like that.
Definitely.
And then, a few of these guys, they look like they could still. Ozzie Smith looks like he could still win you a ball game.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Jim Rice looks like he could still win you a ball game.
Jim Rice, amazing.
F me running. Anyway, what a great showing, and again, congratulations.
And a lot of Twins fans. A lot of Twins fans made the trip to Cooperstown. Remember, this was during the week of this computer situation where flights were canceled and things got crazy. And, it wasn't easy. It's not easy to get to Cooperstown to begin with because it's in the middle of nowhere. So for all of those Twins fans to make the trek out there, I think that's why Mauer was the last one to speak. Normally what happens is the Hall of Fame kind of anticipates who's going to have the most fans here, and they like to save them for the end. And that was the right choice because Mauer was very highly anticipated by the live audience that was there to watch. So
that's another great thing. That's another great thing about the baseball induction is that you can go. I mean, you don't have to necessarily. It's not like a limited ticket type of deal, the way they have that set up, and Randy's seen it a few times, and I've seen it too. I mean, anybody can go. They got room for people, so that's kind of cool.
You know who else was there, Cubby? Powdered Toast Man.
I love
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
Powdered effing Toast Man walked out there, too.
That's the first thing I said when I saw him, too, by the way.
Powdered Toast.
Powdered Toast Man.
Jim told me, of course, is who we're referring to. You know who looked like they could wipe out a case of beer in about 20 minutes? Vladimir Guerrero.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, I bet he could drink beer. George Brett is still hot. Well, all right. Jim?
It was a great day.
You're not in my wildest dreams. Well, the Twins have come out the All-Star break and lost back-to-back games at home to the Milwaukee Brewers, both close ball games. Saturday night's game went 11 or 12 innings. Yesterday, a Brewer by the name of Rhys Hoskins hit a go-ahead 2-run dong in the 8th, and the Brewers win 8-7 at Target Field. He hit that dong off of friggin' Griffin Jacks. And the Twins said they are frustrated but not mad at the fan who snatched that baseball away from Austin Martin. Did everyone see this play?
I did not.
I think this is on our website, isn't it, Ashley?
Yep.
Austin Martin back. He's at the wall. He'll jump up, and Martin can't make the play, and that is gone, a home run. And Milwaukee regains the advantage here late at Target Field.
Did it look like Martin might have had a decent chance at that baseball?
It was really close.
I think it was out.
Yeah. I don't think he would have got it.
I don't know.
I think his glove was in front of the planter.
Yeah, if the fan reaches over, that's one thing, but the fan didn't really reach over in that case.
No. I'm not arguing whether it should have been ruled a home run because they reviewed it and called it a home run. I'm arguing whether or not Martin had a chance at that baseball.
No.
I looked at the freeze frame photo of the last second before. I don't know. The Twins said they're not mad, they're frustrated. It was interesting. The fan...
It's like a dad.
Yeah.
The fan's
disappointed in you.
Yes.
That's worse.
Yeah, it is.
100%.
Just yell at me, Dad.
What I thought was interesting was the fan didn't appear to have any concern at all that maybe he just interrupted a game-saving catch. He was very cold-blooded about it.
And it didn't look like anybody around him did either.
No one really cared.
No. So they must have all thought he didn't have a chance at it.
Well, that's tough for the fan. If the ball's coming right at him,
Right.
how's he to know that Austin Martin's going to leap over the wall to try to get it?
Right.
He's trying to catch the ball or get out of the way.
There was an incident in Chicago a number of years ago. I can't quite remember, but where a fan kind of...
Did that make the news?
Don't even get me started on that Steve Bartman thing.
Did he have to move?
I'll completely lose my effing mind on the Bartman thing again if we get started on that.
Especially since nobody talks about the other dudes that were going for the ball but just didn't catch it.
See, now you got me. Now I'm in. Now I'm all in.
Nobody brings them up.
He's hooked. So,
Which I'm sure they appreciate greatly.
Now I got to get it off my chest again. One of the most sickening things I've ever heard in my life was you got this poor bastard, Steve Bartman. You know the story. And then the White, what do they call that team on the north side?
Talking about the Cubs?
The Cubs win the World Series with a fluke victory over the Cleveland Indians a number of years ago, right? And we're all supposed to fall down and masturbate because the Cubs finally won a World... F them, right? But they finally win their World Series. And then they say, you know what? We'd even allow Steve Bartman to come back to town if he wanted to. Oh, is that right? Is that right? You'll allow this man who your fan base ruined his life over a baseball game? Is it okay now that he comes back to town? I've said it before. I'll say it again. If I were Steve Bartman, I would have acted completely calm and said, you know what? I'm very great. Thank you. Thank you. Would you allow me to come on the field when they present the players the rings? Could I say something on the microphone? And, of course, the Cubs at that point would have said, well, yeah, Steve, come on, you can say something on the microphone. And I would have grabbed that microphone and said, everybody in this town can kiss my ass! You ruined my life, you fear-swilling, ignorant bastards! I would have.
On the newest season of The Bear, the show on Hulu, they actually bring that up. They bring up the Steve Bartman play, and he's like, I can't remember exactly the players, but he's like, the shortstop actually messed up in that game and threw an error, and then that's how people got on base. And he was saying, yeah, but there's no credibility for the Cubs players, but everyone just goes on Steve Bartman like,
I think
you ruined it.
To be Wapple, what's your name again? Wapple. I believe the error by the shortstop was after the Bartman incident.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, that does get brought up. Whatever. I've already gone.
And the fact that was in Game 6, and they had to go lose Game 7.
They still had a home Game 7.
You know what Bartman should do? He should go on like the Masked Singer or something. I could see him becoming a celebrity in a different light.
Oh my God, that'd be hilarious.
Yeah, I could see him kind of doing a tour like that.
I would love
Change
that.
His image.
And it was a close one there with Martin and the fan. Whatever. They fire up a series tonight at home against the Philadelphia Phillies. So, one more thing. If I were Bartman, I neglected to mention how I'd close out my appearance at Wrigley Field if I were him and I was invited. After I tell the crowd to absolutely drop dead and kiss my ass, as I'm making my way up the stairs at Wrigley Field, I find the oldest Cub fan in a seat and I punch him in the face. The oldest one, because that's what you heard during that run. Oh, you got to feel good for all those old Cub fans who are finally. I find the most elderly person in the bleachers and I punch him in the jaw. And then put my hand. Now cuff me. Cuff me now. Dicks.
He was wrong. What if it's an old lady? You wouldn't punch an old lady, would you?
If I'm Steve Bartman, I punch an old lady. I do. Shohei Ohtani hit a 473-foot dong that cleared the outfield bleachers at Dodger Stadium. Was this yesterday, Randy?
Yes.
Yesterday.
Yes.
Ohtani! Right field! Forget about it! A massive shot! Wow! 473 feet!
Did that go over the roof?
The reaction of those folks there indicated it cleared it. 473 feet according to StatCast.
Now, that was his 30th home run of the season. Hit it against the Boston Red Sox. Cleared the concourse, landed out on the ballpark plaza, whatever that means. But it says here, he just missed hitting it smooth out of Dodger Stadium, which only 6 players have done in the history of that stadium, which opened in 1900, add 62. Only 6 players have hit it smooth out of the ballpark. One of them was Mike Piazza. Another was a Hall of Famer. Randy Shaver, Brad Ryder, do you want to guess what Hall of Famer, who did it? Okay, in 1969 and 1973, this Hall of Famer hit a baseball all the way out of Dodger Stadium. I'll give you a hint. We are family.
Willie Stargell.
Willie Stargell. He was a massive dude. Mark McGuire Mark McGuire was likely on the gas when he did it in '99. Not that I care. Giancarlo Stanton and Fernando Tatis Jr. a couple years ago hit it right on out of the ballpark. Willie Stargell. All right, we were talking about the Hall of Fame. How about the Hall of Shame? Brad Ryder, when you were a pitcher up there in Clara City, were you ever get into a rut like this? There's a pitcher in the Atlanta Braves minor league system. Now, he's only 19 years old, so I don't want to pick on him too bad. But he's been struggling through 3 innings of work this season. He's thrown 35 wild pitches.
Oh my gosh.
The catcher just has no idea where the baseball is going.
Is he a knuckleball pitcher?
No.
Okay.
No. 3 innings of work, 35.
In 3 innings, you're probably only expected to throw 35 pitches, period.
Right.
Did you watch any of the lowlights?
No, I did not.
And one of them, one of the batters was kind of laughing. It was so bad. I felt bad for the kid.
Oh, no.
But he can throw heat, and I bet that's a nerve-wracking expect for a guy in the batter's box.
Yes, absolutely.
Have you tried playing outfield, kid?
Well,
sorry if this is too technical, but 35. So guys have been on base, and he's thrown 35 wild pitches, or just 35 pitches to the backstop.
I don't know the direct details, Brad Ryder.
It sounds like a Rick and Keel kind of guy. Yeah.
I remember the name.
Rick Ankiel played for the Cardinals, and he came up as a pitcher, but he never quite could find the strike zone well enough, so they put him in the outfield because the guy could hit. He didn't, he played for a while. I don't think he lit the world on fire, but he did play in the outfield. So maybe if the guy can hit, maybe that's where he'll end up.
I think the Rick Ankiel thing was he came up and was actually a pretty good pitcher for a while, and then he had that kind of like that, just that mental
He had the
block
yips.
that 1 year.
Yeah, he had like the yips.
Yeah, like he had a few really good years as a pitcher, and then just remember the name Steve Sachs?
Yeah.
From the Dodgers when he had that thing, so he couldn't throw it from second base to first base.
Well, Knobloch had that a little bit too.
Knobloch had that too. Yeah.
Steve Sachs, absolutely. Now, one more stat on this poor kid who's in the Atlanta Braves minor league system. He's only 19 years old. His name is Francisco something or another. The Braves are trying like hell because they do like the heat that he can bring, which, of course, is the name of the game. They're trying to corral his control problems, massive control problems. Like I said, the catcher throws a one down and has no idea where the...
It looks like a couple hit the backstop. The catcher had to get up and kind of really get out of the way and grab it.
One more stat that this kid's got to drag into the clubhouse every day. He's committed 3 errors in his only 3 fielding opportunities.
No. Yeah, he can't throw to first either.
Give the kid a hug.
Oh my!
I don't know. Maybe he's kicking the ball all the way. I don't know if he feels.
Yeah, you don't know if it's a throwing error.
Yeah, he might be.
My guess, he can't throw it to first either.
Remember the little league kid who would just kick it all around? Every time he bends over to pick it up, he kicks it again. All right, Cubby, I'm seeing your email here looking at Joe Mauer's plaque to go back to Joe Mauer's Hall of Fame induction. A few of our listeners and you guys seem to agree that his plaque sucks. It doesn't look anything like him. Now that I'm looking at it, finally...
It's the mouth that's bad.
The mouth makes it look as if Joe Mauer is constantly saying...
That's what I mean. It's a silly look on his face.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Joe's too nice to say anything about it.
I'm sure you're right. I'm sure he knows, but he'd never say anything.
Oh, no, it looks great, guys. Thanks.
If you want to see a poor likeness of someone, I'll show you the old Kevin Garnett bobblehead doll I have in my basement.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, my God. They handed out a Kevin Garnett bobblehead doll back when he was playing for the Wolves, and it is just the worst damn thing.
I had one of those, too. It was bad.
It's horrible.
Yeah, it was bad.
Was it Ronaldo? Who's a soccer player that has an infamously bad...
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah. People always talk about that
It's comical. Like, they had to have gone out of their way to make it that bad.
Whoever made the bobblehead doll for KG really hated KG.
Oh, yeah, that's bad.
Really hated KG. All right. Hang on to something. They tell me this is... Speaking of finally, we said finally Joe's into the hall after all the talk about it. Finally this week they fire up that silly Summer Olympics television show.
Yeah, opening ceremony's Friday night?
Yep.
They finally get around to the Summer Olympics. Oh, there's just been some scandal coming out of Paris already as the athletes are showing up. You know how they do. They show up and they do some stretching, and then eventually they're going to... a Japanese gymnastics gal, the captain of the team, she got her little behind sent home by whoever runs the Japanese Olympic team, the bosses, the coaches, whatever. They sent her home. She'll miss the Olympics after getting caught smoking a cigarette.
It kind of reminded me that story of Vince Vaughn in Old School. Remember when he's doing the gymnastics routine in his mouth? I was picturing her doing the same thing.
Oh, man.
She can't compete in the Olympics because the Japanese coaches caught her smoking a cigarette. It does say here she also had an alcoholic beverage in her hand.
So she's just trying to party.
Yeah, come on.
Being a normal person.
That's terrible. She's a 19-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Now they say here smoking cigarettes is illegal in Japan until the age of 20.
Really?
Well,
they weren't in Japan, though.
I wonder what drinking is then.
And even though they were out of the country when it happened, it appears to be considered a very serious offense.
I guess so.
Anytime you want to complain about living in this country, read a story like that.
Her coach even had her back. It was someone a notch or two above the coach who sent her home. The coach said, look, these kids are stressed out, and they're young kids.
Yeah,
they might want to burn one, have a can of beer now and again to relax.
Right.
What are you doing to this kid? She's 19. Yeah.
Did you watch by chance the Dream Team play South Sudan on Saturday?
That was a squeaker.
Yeah, I watched it.
Oh my God!
I wish I would have.
Oh my God!
No, I did not, Randy Shaver.
I was dying watching that game.
Some of those shots were ridiculous.
They barely won the game. In fact, they probably deserved to lose the game. But man, oh man, that was. If that's the way this tournament's going to go for the U.S., where they're going to have to really, South Sudan, for Pete's sake. Those guys, a lot of those guys are like G League backup guys in the NBA. It was like, what in the world?
There were dudes hitting the side of the backboard.
Oh my God!
It was really bad.
Team USA.
Well, South Sudan couldn't miss anything in the first half. They were up 14 at halftime. And that's when I started watching. I went, what in the world?
I did not see any of this basketball game, but I read one story that cracked me up. Basketball fans wanted Steve Kerr fired.
Jesus.
After the first half versus South Sudan. Oh, will you shut up?
He said I obviously didn't prepare well enough. He admitted that. That game, it was almost a joke.
They were favored by 43 points.
43. They were favored by 43.
Whoever South Sudan is got hot, it says here, outplayed the U.S. in the first half of the game, and at halftime, fans jumped on social media and demanded that Steve Kerr be fired. Someone tweeted, I hope everyone sees how bad Steve Kerr is as a coach and never gives him a job again.
Well, I'll say this. LeBron James saved their butts. He played amazing in the third quarter into the fourth quarter. I just saw this morning where he is now going to be one of the flag bearers for the U.S. at the opening ceremonies, which I think is, after watching what happened on Saturday, much deserved, because they really embarrassed themselves, even winning by a point, because South Sudan had a layup at the end of the game. Had they made the layup, they would have won. So,
well, it's an exhibition game. Maybe
I understand
maybe
that,
they should have lost the game. Maybe it would have been better for the team to lose that game in the long run.
Well, they're gonna have a tough road to hoe no matter what. I mean,
I agree.
The women will probably cakewalk to the goal just because.
No, I don't know.
The rest of the world isn't quite caught
WNBA
up.
All-Stars.
But the men are going to have a hard time, because with all the NBA players on other teams, they're not going to be able to just walk in and win the thing.
Almost a miracle win for South Sudan, but you managed to stay there. What was the key for you guys?
LeBron James. Yeah, pretty much just LeBron.
That was
no
A1.
kidding.
Anthony Edwards was asked after the game what was the difference. He simply said LeBron James.
Absolutely. I mean, he put him on his back in that third quarter, got him back in the game, got him ahead by like 5 points. I mean, it came down to a missed layup at the end of the game. It was kind of frightening, actually, for Team USA. Hopefully that'll be like the wake-up call that this is not going to be as easy as you think it is.
Fire Steve Kerr after one half of basketball in an exhibition game. Stop being such a hard-on, will you? Those are the same people who think their favorite team owes them a championship because they spend money on tickets and jerseys, which I always thought was a really funny bit. Nobody's forcing you to buy a $500 Josh Dobbs jersey, okay? They don't owe you anything. Pull your head out of your own ass, for Christ's sake.
I bet you can get one for pretty cheap right now.
We used to work with a guy who admitted that he thinks the Vikings owe him and his family a championship because of the money they've spent over the years.
That's so ridiculous.
What in the living hell are you talking about?
Nick, that's the same philosophy that parents have when they invest in their kids to play AAU basketball or whatever it is, and they feel like that kid deserves to be on the varsity or whatever because of the time and the money they've invested in their future. It's the same philosophy.
Yeah, no one's putting a gun to your head and putting them on a ball club.
You can now
no one's putting a gun to your head and making you buy tickets to a ball game.
You can now get a Josh Dobbs jersey for $50.
Still
That's
$50?
way too expensive.
Dude,
That's
that much?
way too expensive.
Wow.
That's an expensive duster egg.
Does it double as a chamois?
Really?
A Josh Dobbs jersey should be $1. By the way, we were talking about that Japanese gymnast who got thrown out of the Olympics by her own team for smoking a cigarette and drinking a beer. And someone said something about smoking and drinking. Is this for real? People have texted in to say you got to be 21 to buy a pack of cigarettes these days?
I thought so.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yep.
Really? When the hell?
Yeah, I was just in a gas station over the weekend, and I noticed a sign that said you have to be 21 to buy any tobacco products.
I did not know that.
You were in there buying cigarettes, Brad. Be honest.
Maybe like 4 or 5 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, when Minneapolis went and they took away all the, the mint flavors?
The flavored, like the good flavors, like mango and strawberry and stuff.
Yeah, that's when it
I
happened.
did not know that. You got to be 21 to buy a pack of heaters?
Think about all the money you can make just hanging out by a local high school right now, Nick.
Man,
good idea.
Second job.
That's it's crazy to me. Like, you could go to the casino and get like hot boxed by everybody else smoking cigs, but you can't have one yourself. No.
You know, I'll never buy any liquor for an underage kid. I did it when I was young. You know, when I was like 24 or something, one of my buddy's younger brothers in high school asked me, would you buy some beer for us? And I said, well, hell yeah, I'll buy some beer for you. And then I saw the way he operated when drunk. Oh. And I never did it again.
Same thing happened to me, Nick.
But I'll buy cigarettes for kids.
You know, there could be an opening in the presidential race, so you could run on that platform.
I will.
I'll buy kids cigs.
I'll buy kids chewing tobacco and cigarettes.
Cigs for kids.
Because it's not like they're going to have
kids.
They're not going to have a cigarette and crash a car. So I'll buy your kids cigarettes and chew. Make a little money. Good idea, Cubby. Thanks for the idea.
All the kids want are Zins now.
What's
all the kids
What's
want.
a Zin? I don't know what
It's
that is.
basically like a tobacco-less. I think it has
It's like a
tobacco.
nicotine pouch, pretty much.
Yeah, it's weird.
I only have one rule, though, if I'm going to buy chewing tobacco for little kids. If Mommy asks, tell her it's Oreo.
Until she smells it.
That goes back to an old story from my neighborhood. I won't tell it again. I just won't. Okay, further Olympic news. Randy, this is the first time that breakdancing, maybe it's not the first time, but breakdancing.
It is.
It is.
Yes.
You hated this idea a few years ago.
Still do.
Breakdancing is an Olympic sport, although they just call it breaking.
Breaking?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, you don't think it's Olympic worthy?
No.
Says here, 20% of Americans are with you, Randy Shaver. Not that it matters, but 20% of Americans, 31% of Americans don't think that breakdancing belongs in the Olympics.
I don't get it. People think dance is a sport. Breakdancing is dance. It's a sport.
Did you hear that, Randy?
I did hear it. I disagree.
40% of Americans like it.
40% of Americans
They're all for it.
Are for breaking in the Olympics. 31% say they hate it, and then the other percentage, they're not sure.
Or don't care.
You know what you should do also, Nick, aside from selling tobacco to kids?
What?
Open up a cardboard store. If this becomes, everybody's, they're going to emulate what they see in the Olympics. Breakdancing comes back. You're going to need some cardboard.
I'm looking forward to seeing how they do it in the Olympic Games. Do they bust out an old refrigerator box?
Wouldn't that be sweet if they did?
That would be awesome.
Herbie Hancock? Is Herbie Hancock going to be
very
there?
nostalgic. They did something like that.
Herbie Hancock wrote the tune, for breakdancing. What did he call that?
Rocket?
Yeah, Rocket. Yeah, oh God, that was huge when I was about a 6th grader, maybe. Herbie Hancock, yo, Rocket. Little robotic voices and cool electronic drums. Randy Shaver, you probably had sex to that song back in the day.
I don't think I did, no.
You don't think you had sex?
There's still time.
No, there's not.
Music has been taken out of this portion of the Half-Assed Morning Show podcast for licensing reasons.
Go rock it. Come on. I like that part, little robot thing.
Yeah, I like the record scratches.
Check it out, Cubby. What am I doing right here?
I don't know what that is.
What do they
pop
call
and
that?
Lock?
I'm popping and locking.
I ruined one of my dad's records doing this, and he was not cool.
Oh,
not
I
cool
bet that
with
was a bad one.
What you do? You put one of your dad's records on the turntable and you tried scratching on it?
Scratching, yeah.
It wasn't Rhinestone Cowboy, was it, by Glenn Campbell?
Probably like a Beatles record or a Joan Baez or something. I don't know.
One of the most underrated movies of all time, one of the most underrated comedies of all time, John Lovitz in High School High. I love High School High. I saw it in the theater. And there's a scene where he's at the cool high school dance. He's a new teacher at the high school, and he goes up to the DJ and makes the DJ play Rhinestone Cowboy by Glenn Campbell. And then the hip DJ says, "What? This is garbage." And the hip DJ starts scratching on the record, and he ruins John Lovitz's copy of Rhinestone Cowboy.
You know, you could watch that movie with the sound off and still laugh.
Yes.
John Lovitz's facial expressions in that movie are so funny.
I'm walking the streets alone. Right, Randy and Brad?
Yes.
Yeah, that's music, not Herbie Hancock.
Oh, God, what's the line? I love that line. Like a rhinestone. What's he got in his shoe? With $1 tucked inside my shoe. Let's play Rhinestone Cowboy by Glenn Campbell. How's Glenn Campbell? What movie? I forgot.
I'm sure Ashley has no idea who Glenn Campbell is.
Not off the top of my head, no. Maybe I would know his face.
I got a rundown here for you to get you ready for the Olympics. Randy Shaver, I bet you know some of these people. The athletes with Minnesota ties on Team USA, okay? You ready?
Sure.
Yeah.
Minnesota ties is how they say it. Diving. What the hell? I lost the name here. God help us. I edited out a name. There's a Golden Gopher female diver. I'm sorry. I edited out the name.
She doesn't
Rhinestone
perform for the U.S. though, right? She's a foreign.
Her name is
right?
Bacon. Her name is Bacon.
Oh.
That's what that I have for you. Diving, okay. The 3-meter springboard and the 3-meter synchronized. Synchronized diving? That sounds interesting.
Looks like her name was Sarah Bacon.
Sarah Bacon. Thank you, Wample. Nafisa Collier of the Minnesota Lynx will be playing basketball.
Yep.
Laura Dahlman Weiss from Shoreview
She's a sailor.
She's in sailing.
Oh, that's sweet.
Oh, now we got to play the old Christopher Cross song, Sailing. Takes me away to where... Of course, Anthony Edwards playing hoops. Suni Lee is involved in gymnastics, and she's very good at it.
Yes, she is.
Gal named Dakota Lindworm.
Yep, marathon
runner.
She's going to run the marathon, yeah.
Peyton Otterdahl of Rosemont.
I think he's a repeat to the Olympics. I think he was there last time, too.
I'll go along with it. It says, Cubby, he's involved in the men's shot put. How far can you launch that shot put, Josh?
I've never tried it, but I'd imagine Olympic levels.
Yeah.
He also has a bunch of snakes. Did you know that about him?
What's that?
Peyton Otterdahl, he's like he has a bunch of snakes he likes.
A snake enthusiast.
He is.
Oh, my God.
Rosemont guy.
Cheryl Reeve, coaching the women's basketball team. Of course, she coaches the Lynx here in town. Regan Smith is a swimmer from Lakeville.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
Listen to all this. She does the 100-meter backstroke, the 200-meter backstroke, the 200-meter butterfly, and something called the medley relay.
Yeah.
She'd be exhausted by the end of it.
She's got a great chance to medal. Yeah.
Jordan Thompson is a women's volleyball player from Edina. Matthew Wilkinson, he runs the 3,000-meter steeplechase.
Steeplechase?
What is that, where you jump over hurdles and puddles? And
jump in the water.
Maybe jump over, I don't know, maybe some dog turds or something. Let's put something else out there.
They get a grizzly bear out there most years.
Wasn't that the one that Snoop Dogg was doing commentary for? Oh, look, they're going over the top now. They're jumping in the water.
I don't care. He needs to shut up. Elise Willoughby is from St. Cloud.
Cycling.
BMX racing.
Yep. I think she's a repeat too. I think she was in the Olympics last time.
And then it goes on and on. There are some athletes who play here in town and go to school here in town who are competing for other countries, like Nikhil Alexander Walker will be playing basketball for Canada and all that. There's a lot of Minnesotans.
Anthony Edwards, too.
I said him already.
Okay.
I said that.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, it sounded better the second time. Way to go, Brad. I like the way you said it.
Sorry, Brad, but I did say that already.
I got to defend him. He shares my birthday. So
you guys have the same birthday?
Ain't that cute?
Yeah.
Oh, God, we're out of time.
A lot of years in between, though.
Hey,
a couple.
A lot of years in between.
Boy, are we talking a bunch.
I ran too late. We were singing and having fun, and I went too long. Hey, one quick note: the Vikings signed their backup quarterback, J.J. McCarthy. I guess that was something that people were worried about. We got to get going. Thanks, Brad and Randy.
You bet.
You guys have a wonderful day. Text in and tell us what's ailing you. Dr. P. Jesus is coming in, and he's got professional medical advice coming out his ass. 651-989-9393. Dr. P is next on the program.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Are you ready to beat the heat this summer? Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is here to help you say goodbye to sweltering heat and hello to ultimate comfort. Ashley, what specials do they have going on this month?
Celebrate Christmas in July with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Get huge savings with $1,776 off a new multi-head ductless system. Visit standardheating.com to discover all the goodies in Santa's bag.
The Rolling Stone Music Now podcast gets inside the biggest stories with Rolling Stone senior writer Brian Hyatt, Snoop Dogg, and Lotto.
Let me give you one of my secrets. I remain the biggest kid in the room at all times. There's a kid in you can't believe that. Look at where you at. Keep making it about fun.
Yeah, we blessed to be able to do a job that's like fun.
There's two funds that's the most important funds in the world. Funds that you make off of the fun that you have.
Rolling Stone Music Now, wherever you listen.
Dr. P. Jesus.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Welcome back to the show. It's 8:28. Yeah, Dr. P. Jesus is in studio. We're going to wrap with him in just a minute. Feel free to text in your health issues, 651-989-9393. He'll straighten you out one way or the by God other. I can guarantee you that. But the moment we've all been waiting for has arrived. Thursday, September 26th at XL Energy Center. It's a 93X family reunion show with Godsmack, Nothing More, Wage War, Sleep Theory, and who? Who
could it be?
It's a mystery guest.
Right? Isn't that the old, what was the name of those folks? Who? What were they called again? New Day?
Yeah.
New Day? September 26th, 93X family reunion, Godsmack, Nothing More, Wage War, and Sleep Theory, and everyone was wondering who the hell else is going to be there. It's Chevelle!
I just saw him over the weekend.
And how were they?
They were amazing.
Did they mention they were going to be here September 26th?
No, they didn't. Not at all. No. But they're one of those bands you kind of keep forgetting. Oh, yeah, they play this song. Oh, this song. I like this one.
Everybody's been busted. Everybody else's balls. Who's that last band to be announced? It's Chevelle. It's sponsored by Nicolay Law, Accident and Injury Lawyers. Tickets are on sale at 93x.com. That's all very exciting. Welcome, Dr. P. Jesus, to the studio. How you doing, James?
Hey, I'm doing all right.
Dr. James Parnell, absolutely wonderful to see you again. Did you have a wonderful weekend?
I did, yeah.
Anything special?
Well, I know you love when I talk about pickleball, so I'll do it. I'll do it briefly, though. I'm playing in this league. It's called Semi-Pro League.
You're a semi-pro, huh?
I mean, it's pretty funny. It's something that people should consider if they play pickleball. It's a thing where I'm on a team of 2 men and 2 women. I was actually drafted for the team, believe it or not.
Whoa.
Big time. I was drafted last for the team, for sure. But we
just like the old days.
I know, right? Exactly. That was nothing new. But we compete against another team of 4 in a women's doubles, a men's doubles, and then 2 mixed doubles games, and then we compete against 2 other teams the same day. So it's actually pretty intense. It's a long afternoon, but we're doing okay. And my teammates are 20 years old, 24 years old, 32 years old, and I'm 53.
they got stuck with you, huh?
You got everything covered.
It's like,
Do you drag the team down, Dr. P?
I bet you have the best look. I mean, you look so adorable when you're out there.
thank you.
You got all the stuff on.
I mean,
seeing how you're twice everybody's age, do they call you the wizard or old balls or anything like that?
Old balls.
Do you supply the beer for the 20-year-old?
No, I haven't. His mom was there yesterday, so I probably should.
Oh, everybody wants you to prescribe him something fun.
Yeah.
That's why you're there. You're
I find it interesting that you mentioned
or something.
I find it interesting that you mentioned your 20-year-old teammate's mother.
Well, no, I mean just that.
I find it interesting.
She was a lovely woman.
All right.
But okay, the other thing on my mind as I'm sitting here this morning is I was thinking about neurobiology and neurochemistry.
Oh, me too.
Of the brain,
Sure. Josh was saying stuff about it off air.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing.
You were thinking about what now?
So basically, neurobiology, the science of how our brain works, how we think. But it's because I was driving along this morning, minding my own business, listening to a great local morning radio show.
Sure.
KQRS is awesome.
They got a new host, Steve Gorman.
Get out of here.
I'm kidding.
Have you heard of Meat Sauce on KFM?
He's pretty good, too.
Yeah, people love him.
No, honestly, my radio never changes from 93X. So, but I was listening to you guys, but Joe Mauer's story about his grandfather, or not even really a story, it was just that very brief statement he said about his grandfather as he was losing his vision later in life, would stand up near the TV when Joe was up at bat and basically, go through the motions of his swing. And I was tearing up immediately. I mean, it's really amazing how that brief of an image that he painted makes me, who has nothing to do with it, tear up and cry literally. And it is. So I just was curious about it.
Was it something when he got choked up? Is that when it got you, or just the
I think
content of
it's
his
something
speech?
about. I mean, so basically, there's lots of theories on. It's more about movies. Like why do we cry when it has nothing to do with us? And
okay.
A couple of the theories are it can be an emotional release, something that triggers something that's pent up in you.
Well, Josh, you should be writing this stuff down because everything makes. We covered this a few times. Everything makes him cry now.
Lately, not cry, but get choked up.
Yeah, and it's also a sign, presumably, of emotional intelligence, like empathy with others, and emotional strength. Even though I think sort of.
The perception is that
perception is weak, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I cannot wait to go home and tell my boyfriend that I'm emotionally strong.
Let's not get crazy.
So there are some theories in science out there about it, and I mean, we don't have to get into it. But it was just, I mean, that was such a beautiful moment about his grandfather that he captured in just a few words, and I'm sitting there crying.
Well, one more time. I want to go. This is grabbed me now. I'm very interested now. What?
I mean, neurochemistry.
Okay,
basically
neurochemistry.
The science and
the science of the brain.
Biology, because it's amazing.
Can you answer me this? Okay,
Yeah,
so
sure.
we're wondering, you were kind of just talking about, what makes us tear up when we have really nothing to do with what we're seeing or hearing. I have a question. What's happening in the brain? Why take a guy like Josh? Why is he able to be so quick?
To tears?
No. Quick with his witty responses when we have a conversation on the program, as opposed to a guy like Dana or Wapple, who are just slower than hell. And you know what I mean?
That's just smarts.
Well, I missed. What did you say?
Is there something going on with the brain? Is there a certain something that fires in the brain for some people, but not for others?
So basically, the brain chemistry of improvisation, essentially.
Oh,
Is that what you're?
That's kind of what I'm wondering. Why is Josh so quick? Where the rest of our coworkers, you can't count on them for dick.
Hey, wait
I'm
a minute.
uncomfortable with this.
Well, probably I'm gonna need to dissect one of you.
Josh.
Should we dissect one of the people that can't do it first?
Josh says, I'm uncomfortable with this.
I can 100%.
Why
tell
is
that
Josh so gifted and the others are not?
Oh, stop that.
That's a pretty strong premise.
I was going to wear that. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, please, go ahead.
I was going to wear, I have a medical-related T-shirt that it just showed up in the mail yesterday, and I forgot to wear today with you coming in. I saw a woman at one of my son's football camps. She was wearing a T-shirt that said, "Diabetes really sucks. 1 out of 5 stars. Wouldn't recommend." I got one for epilepsy, and I was going to wear it today, and I totally forgot.
What does it say?
It's the same exact thing, except replace diabetes with epilepsy.
Right.
Oh, 1 out of 5 you would not recommend.
Yeah, wouldn't recommend.
So to answer your question.
Now, to be specific, I do have epilepsy. For anybody listening thinking, hey, you can't wear that, but I think I can. I think as somebody with epilepsy, I can wear that.
Yeah, so I don't know about the neurochemistry of improvisation, but I can find out. But I think it's, it's some ability that Josh has to not go down the maybe standard path of what someone just said and the response.
The easy answer.
Where you think it's going to go. He brings in stuff from outside. So I don't know.
Sign of insanity.
Some people,
maybe it's epilepsy.
Is it his imagination, Dr.
Imagination,
P? Does he have a good
intelligence.
imagination?
It's a mix of all of these things. The chemistry in the brain, his imagination, his intelligence. He's able to navigate around the easy joke.
That is a really good question.
So many
Nick,
people have that easy joke where there are others who find a way around.
Here I am trying to change the topic. Bug-Eye Wagon Jesus said, "Why in the world of ugly faces should I be allowed to be so hot?"
Yeah.
So many people without talent, yet I was born with all the magical gifts I got. Why is that about Bug-Eye Wagon Jesus?
Mm-hmm.
He's just lucky.
We got Dr. P. Jesus in studio here, and I'll be damned, he's prepped to answer some of your health concerns. We're at 651-989-9393. Now, here's a text. Dr. P., this listener quit smoking cigarettes 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. He had a terrible cough, but now he's got bronchitis. Is this normal? I think what he's asking maybe is this a response? What's the term? Like a side effect of suddenly taking something like smoking out of your life?
It is very common when people quit to have unbelievable coughing spells.
Really?
Basically, smoking kind of deadens the cilia in your. I mean, it's crazy to think about, but in your airways, you have these little flowing cilia that would probably look like science fiction or aliens if you saw them up close, but that are supposed to move mucus and junk out of your lungs. Because every day you're breathing pollen, you're breathing chemicals and that
fecal
stuff.
Matter.
I mean, sometimes.
Sometimes you are breathing in fecal matter.
Sometimes, or maybe always we are, really, technically.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah. But smoking suppresses those cilia, and so when you stop smoking, that system starts to clear junk out. That's been sitting there for a long, long time. And so it's usually a lot of very productive, nasty stuff. And I would think it's possible just as that stuff is trying to move up, it might be blocking some small airways that, maybe you could get an infection that is truly, requires antibiotics, though. That's the thing. The term bronchitis doesn't necessarily mean it's a viral or bacterial infection. It may just mean symptoms. But yeah, it's very common, and that lasts for quite a while.
Okay.
The phlegm, too. Get so much phlegm after
When you stop? Really?
Yeah.
Yep.
I told, we were talking off air, and I mentioned this on air, too. My wife and I were going through the TV show House again. We're rewatching it. And there was just an episode we watched a couple days ago where all these symptoms started from this girl quitting smoking when she got admitted to the hospital, right? And so she couldn't smoke while she was in the hospital, and they're wondering, well, her body's shutting down in a lot of different ways. And whatever it was about nicotine or cigarettes, whatever, it was like the toxins, that's what it was. The toxins from cigarettes were taking out these other toxins, right? It was keeping them at bay.
Sure.
Oh, that's far-fetched.
I have heard I've heard older people say, and these aren't doctors, they're just older people, say taking something away like cigarettes from an old timer that's been smoking them for 50, 60 years can sometimes be harder on their bodies. We're talking about old people now than if they just continued to smoke until the day that they die. That's just the theory I've heard before.
I mean, it's a pretty violent thing. I mean, basically you've just, your lungs have been just holding on to this junk it's kind of like they're hoarding stuff in there, and as soon as you stop smoking, your body's trying to get rid of it.
Wants to clear it out. Can this man who texted in, should he expect to kind of have bouts of this on and off?
I think, it's usually something that, once you clear that stuff over, it would be weeks or a couple months. Truly, then hopefully you're back to a more normal baseline. And
Dude.
Oh, God. And for a lot of, for people who quit, if they quit in time within 5 years, lung function gets back to pretty normal, actually, but it does take years.
I remember when my parents quit, it was a lot like that. A lot of throat clearing and things like that.
Oh.
That's a fun sound, isn't it?
Oh, my gosh, so bad.
God, don't I know it.
There's some penis questions coming in, per usual.
What?
A lot of times we get questions about the penis. From Cheek Spreader Jesus, I have a purple bump near my very mid-sized sedan penis. It's slightly sore, but doesn't move when I cough like a hernia. What could it be?
It's near the Johnson, not on it.
Yeah.
A purple
bump.
Is it in the pubis area?
So it's ingrown hair.
Where did he say it was?
He said it's near his very, very mid-sized sedan penis.
Okay.
Doesn't really tell us where. It probably would help if he told us exactly where, wouldn't it, Dr. P?
Or how big it is.
Yeah, maybe send a picture.
You mean the bump?
Yeah, the bump.
Well, either.
Right. It could be an infected, a hair follicle cyst.
Those hurt
A lot of times men will get cysts on the scrotum.
Oh.
And you could, anywhere there's hair, you can get that.
Did you drop a blueberry off of a pancake down into your lap or something?
Sometimes you can have
magic marker,
sort of a telangiectasia, like a superficial blood vessel, but it wouldn't really be a bump. So.
Do you mind getting closer to the mic there a little bit?
Yeah, get
sure. Yeah.
There you go.
Be a big boy.
Okay.
Yeah, look at you.
A telangiec what?
Telangiectasia, but that's basically a superficial blood vessel that's visible, and it could look red or purple, but it wouldn't really be a bump. He could have varicoceles and just be noticing, a dilated, tortuous vein that we've talked about before.
Oh, really? Up there?
Well, I'm not sure where he's talking about exactly.
Yeah, he's not telling us. Maybe he'll get back to Cubby.
But he could have.
I think our texts are down. Great.
Oh no, sexually transmitted illness of some sort could be.
A sexually transmitted
I had
illness.
gonorrhea.
Yeah, just like waffle.
Should he show this around town and get many opinions on it?
I would think, yeah.
Okay.
Night out on the town and.
Hey, would you mind coming over and taking a look at this for me?
We're joking about this gentleman's penis size, right?
Yes.
Whether he should tell us how big it is. Is there ever a diagnostic necessity to know how big somebody's penis is? Like maybe the damage it does to another person? I don't know. When would you ever need to know?
Yeah, maybe if the partner is in great pain.
Yeah, that is probably.
You might have to ask that question.
But there's nothing obvious like you go, oh yeah, in medical school we heard about this condition.
I can't think of a single thing. No.
Yep, Josh, you're just going to have to continue to tell people about it.
Yeah.
They're not going to ask you.
I'm dropping out of medical school.
But yeah, injury to partner would be probably the thing that has come up before.
Go. Injury to partner. Good question, Cubby. Speaking of questions, keep sending them in. 651-989-9393. Dr. P. Jesus is here.
Hi, everybody.
Dr. P. Jesus, welcome to the Half-Assed Morning Show.
93X.
Dr. James Parnell. Dr. James Parnell is here in studio with the Half-Assed Morning Show, trying to rip through some more questions from our wonderful listening audience. Well, what do I have here? Oh, first, another funny T-shirt. Cubby, this listener says their friend has an epilepsy T-shirt that says "Little Seizures" and then has the logo from the pizza joint.
That's pretty cool.
Josh has epilepsy. He thinks that's funny. Dr. P, tips for gynecomastia pain.
Oh, I didn't know that hurt.
Mm-hmm.
That's when a gentleman starts getting more breast tissue?
Right. Yep.
Oh, really?
Yeah, gynecomastia is, so basically there's two things. There's a thing called pseudo-gynecomastia, and that's what I have, where you're got some extra weight, and you just have, fat deposit up on your boobies.
And
that does.
You have that problem?
I mean, to some extent,
Okay,
I do.
okay.
And very prominent nipples, I must say.
Really?
Yes,
God.
thank you.
I'd love to see.
Nick has aggressive nipples.
He's been
Oh,
told.
that's right. I've heard about it.
I disagree.
That's what I was. That was one person's opinion. A child, for Christ's sake. It was.
Child
Oh no,
said
wait. That was my sister. My sister's child asked me. Okay, I took my shirt off. I took my shirt off at the state fair last year.
Okay.
I was there with my friggin' wife, my sister, and my sister's daughter. My sister's daughter asked if it was legal for me to take my shirt off. My sister was the one who accused my nipples of being aggressive. Go back to your problem now.
But I wanted to say, because I've mentioned this before, I've seen his nipples many times. Look, as you can tell, as evidenced by it is the background of my telephone here.
I can't see it.
Do you call a cell phone a telephone?
I guess I still do.
His nipples are stately.
Thank you.
Stately.
That's how Cubby puts it.
They are how a nipple should look, in my opinion.
So we were talking about gynecomastia pain.
So gynecomastia is when men truly do have increased amounts of breast tissue.
And there's a difference, you're saying, between being overweight and...
Yeah, just because having fat up in that area is different than having actual breast tissue. Because if you have breast tissue as a man in that area, just like for a woman, it can be sore and uncomfortable. There's a number of reasons why men can get, or boys or men, not boys to men, boys or men can get... Now, that was an obvious. See, that was one of those not good.
Yeah, I don't know why Wapple lost it on that because that was very predictable.
Because I was going to say it.
That's all I'm capable of.
Josh's brain is much quicker and more creative than that. We covered that already.
Give me something better. No.
Yeah.
But boys or men can get it. And we don't need to go into that. But yes, it can cause pain. I mean, honestly, well, the main thing that's tried would be either Tylenol or ibuprofen. So over-the-counter pain medicines to see if that can help. If it doesn't, and if basically, the question is, if a guy has gynecomastia and they want to get rid of it, what do they need to do? If they're smoking a lot of marijuana, or if they're on certain other drugs, or if they're using anabolic steroids, they should stop those things because those things can all make it worse.
Mm-hmm.
But if you wanted to have surgery for it, pain is usually one of the qualifying characteristics, especially pain that doesn't respond to over-the-counter pain medicines. Because it's men don't have the cycling of estrogen and progesterone like women do, but we still have some. I mean, we have some of those in us, so that the breast tissue can be sore at various times, and it can be quite uncomfortable.
That sounds terrible. Back to my friggin' wife here, real quick. Not that long ago, someone sent me a picture of 3 of my buddies hanging out with their shirts off, summers, right? So 3 guys in their 50s with their shirts off, all standing in a picture together. And I showed my friggin' wife. I was like, hey, look, here's Donnie and Ronnie and little Steve or whoever it was. And she goes, oh, no. And I said, what? And she said, this is exactly what she said. I'm seeing a lot of breast tissue there. No. And I said, well, what the hell? And then she accused me of having breast tissue.
I love her.
Well, now you can say, honey, that's pseudo-gynecomastia. That is not gynecomastia. You would actually need to palpate it to know if it's gynecomastia.
Palpate it. Get over here and palpate me, big boy.
She took this cute photo of my buddies, and I'm seeing a lot of breast tissue. Well, who the hell made you the boss of the human body? Where am I going with this, Josh? You're quicker than me.
Anatomy.
Who made you the anatomy queen?
Sweet Plantain Jesus said, hi, doctor. Wonderful start. And he is high. I love the taste of hot sauce, but hot sauce makes the skin itchy sometimes. I'm assuming they mean, still eating it. What gives?
Really? Hot sauce makes the skin itchy?
I get hiccups sometimes. It's kind of embarrassing.
Yeah, I mean...
I find that adorable, Josh.
Gastrointestinal stuff makes a lot of sense, obviously, because it's the spiciness just irritates your stomach, your esophagus, and hiccups are when your diaphragm is kind of getting a little signal from the nerve right along the esophagus that makes the diaphragm make that noise.
But what's more embarrassing is it's not like super hot stuff sometimes that'll get me. So maybe something a little more mild than what it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, itching. I mean, that's interesting because, I mean, that would typically. I mean, itching is what I think of is histamine release, which is, we have certain cells in our immune system that are floating around that if we're exposed to things we're allergic to, release histamine, and that causes itching. It causes a runny nose, wherever it's happening. So it does sound kind of like an allergy response.
Really?
I wonder, there's obviously different sources of hot foods. I guess what are the different ones? I mean, hot peppers are the main thing. What else is there? Is that it?
I don't know. I don't eat hot food.
In like hot sauce, I guess it's a lot of vinegar usually.
Yeah. But yeah, so maybe an allergy to some type of, one of the peppers involved, or one of the, a lot of those things probably have food stabilizers and various other products that keep them have a long shelf life.
Okay.
But nothing to be concerned about.
I don't think it's huge. Yeah, I mean, if you're having itching like that, you can use some Benadryl and stuff. But I would think maybe, testing it out, trying it out, try to get a sense of what it is. If you're starting to have difficulty breathing or wheezing after you eat hot things, then that's a higher or a much higher risk of allergy or a higher risk allergy symptom that is concerning. But the other thing is, could you get it on your hands and then touch your skin, and maybe it's causing something like that? I guess that's good.
Sure.
I know that is a thing with, especially if you touch the peppers, the pepper oil. That can,
I've had
get
that
it in your eye, which I think I have too.
Yeah, we've had stories here where guys are cutting up jalapenos and they take a piss.
That happened to me once.
The worst.
Oh, that is a mistake. I even washed my hands.
And then you touched the pee-pee?
Yeah.
And it was stingy?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And I only wash my hands before I touch the pee-pee, never after.
You have one more for him? We got time maybe for one more, Cubby. You got a good one over there?
Oh, gosh, there's a lot. And I'm so sorry we can't get to all these.
If not, I could do one update from last time.
Give us an update.
Sure. Okay, so last time we had a text with a question about nausea of early pregnancy. And I was sort of floundering that day.
It happens.
So a woman who's early pregnancy often has nausea, sometimes vomiting. Most of the time it's just terrible nausea. I think I mentioned ginger, which is a thing. But the other mainstays are, believe it or not, vitamin B6, which is pyridoxine. And then another common one is Unisom, which is an over-the-counter sleep medication. It's different than Benadryl. Doxylamine is what the generic name of it is. But so
I had one of those, little doxylamine. He lived to be about 19 years old.
He bit my stepdaughter's face off.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's a few over-the-counter things that can be used for that. And I just one of my OBGYN friends happened to be listening that day, and she was very disappointed that I didn't mention those things.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Did you say, hey, look, nobody bats 1,000?
I did.
Yeah. Tell her to give you a break.
No, she's very kind.
It's been wonderful stuff, as usual, again,
Great
Dr.
seeing you.
P. Yeah, good to see you. We barely noticed that you have boobs.
Well,
I've never noticed that before. I mean, I'm a boob guy. So it's kind of
it does make me feel better, actually.
I mean, I love your buns, but I've never checked out your rack.
Well, here, let me take my shirt off.
Thanks, Dr. P. We'll talk to you in a couple weeks.
Yeah, good luck with your pickleball tournament and whatnot. Happy birthday to Low Volt Scout Jesus, turning 36, but he said he's feeling 72. He's growling and telling people to stay off his lawn already.
That can happen.
This text says, can I get a shout out to my sexy husband, Too Far Apart Jesus? It's their 7th anniversary, and she said she can't wait to celebrate later. I don't know what that means, but she did say hubba hubba, so you can read between the lines.
What is it that's too far apart?
Well, I believe this is the story about she sent him a picture of, a provocative photo of herself topless.
Oh, yeah?
And he didn't realize it was her. And thought that he sent them because they were too far apart. Or she sent them like, hey, yeah, I agree. Those are too far apart.
God.
And she says, those are mine.
That's terrible.
You can't come back from that.
Yeah, well, he got the name.
Sounds like he is.
Too Far Apart Jesus. He got the name for it.
She still sounds like she's going to bang him tonight, so I guess, whatever.
He won that
I
battle.
bet it gets brought up every now and then.
Yeah, it sure does. And this text says, can I get a birthday shout out for the goodest boy ever, their dog Bond, turning 3.
Aw.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
Celebrate Christmas in July with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Get huge savings with $1,776 off a new multi-head ductless system. Visit standardheating.com to discover all the goodies in Santa's bag.